Yo, what up, Alistair? What's good, dude? What's good, dude? What's good, dude? Alright, so basically I'm going to go through and just watch some of the old late debates and, see how I feel about them in this day and age. In this year of our Lord. Okay, so this first one is DX, which version was best? So I think it means between, like, it's the late debate. You remember the late debate, right? Those videos I used to do. Anyway, let's dive right in here. Is it loud enough? I want you to be able to hear the video, but also me.
What's up, guys? It's me, it's Eddie, R-I-C. I am the People's co-host, Eric Barnes, and this is The Late Debate with myself. And I am also being joined by the extreme icon himself, the extreme hater,
Whoa.
Mike Nagel. What's up?
That's
good?
better. What's up? What's up? What's up?
And by Mr. Entertainment himself, Noah Donish.
That's me.
Why?
Why do you do it?
Mr. Entertainment is my father. You can call me Noah.
Ouch. It's a burn.
So,
How's it going, guys?
Ray, how are you today?
Oh, I am just freaking fantastic. I'm having a great day today. Why? Because I am on the late debate once again. And I'm typically late to the party, so I'm fine with that.
We're all late to the party, that's why.
I thought that this was the first episode. I must have done it wrong. Anyway.
We're here. So, anyway, today we have a topic from that was suggested down in the comments. As usual, guys, if you have any ideas.
Hey, Future Shocker, I think we all know that Noah always deserved it.
For what you want us to talk about, just let us know in the comments. So this week, topic comes from Eli DeLuna. That's what I was looking for. Who asked which iteration of DX was the best / most dominating / more entertaining / most influential, pre-WrestleMania 14 or post-WrestleMania 14, or Triple H / HBK reunited DX. So.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was getting down to that.
You were just making Eric feel romantic there.
Christina
He
Aguilera,
was.
I'm coming for you.
So fucking romantic. All right. So anyway, Mike, why don't we start with you? What do you?
First of all, I probably go over all this, so I don't really know how much to say about it, but whenever I started watching, it was DX with Triple H, China, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws. So that, hands down, is the coolest one to me. The reunion one, not as cool. And the other one, I mean, with Shawn Michaels originally, more influential probably, but like, I missed a lot of it.
Think who was the most dominating, most influential list? All those 5 things that guy said.
As much as I like Shawn Michaels, I have to go with the post WrestleMania 14 DX. And
So with the New Age Outlaws part of it?
yes.
Okay.
X-Pac.
As much as I love Shawn Michaels, I have to go with that group, an incarnation of DX. Only because they were the only group badass enough to go after WCW.
That's a good
That
point.
was an epic moment, one of the best moments of the Attitude Era, for sure.
You know, I mean, with Shawn Michaels as an active wrestler, if he stayed on and not been
Why does
injured,
he
it
look
might have
like
been
that?
interesting to see him part of
That
the
was scary.
WCW invasion angle, and it might have made it even better and more impactful than it was, considering how influential Shawn was in the WWF at the time. So,
And that's interesting because there was also on this our last episode, a suggestion called "What if Shawn Michaels never got injured and didn't have to retire for 4 years in 1998?" Honestly,
I
as
thought this
far
was the
like
first episode.
if HBK had been there for that, yeah, it would have been a big deal. I can't really imagine a 6-person DX. That almost seems like just too much. Like 5 was like the perfect number.
I don't think Triple H would have ever gotten his breakout moment. I think when he turned on DX at WrestleMania, I think they would have done that with Shawn Michaels instead.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Also, a good point, I think, anyway. Shawn needed that break, man. He needed to go away for a while because he was in such a dark place. You know,
not just
doing
physically, but emotionally and mentally.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I was talking
And,
about. That's
Well, he
obviously
could have
what I was talking
died. I
about.
mean, he was an addict.
yeah, he was an addict, and if he had stayed on the road and not taken that break and not found God, which was important for him. Because without that, who knows what may have happened?
Hey,
This dude,
maybe he would have just found the higher power instead.
oh, come on. And what I heard
Terrible
rumors
joke.
back whenever the higher power came out that it was Shawn Michaels. But I've read this dude's book, and he's sitting there drooling, eating cookies with this 2-year-old. You know what I mean? Like he saw the writing on the wall
Good book.
himself of the path that he was going down. But regardless of that, I would have to. I think that I would also go with the post WrestleMania 14. Like I said, I started. Well, I didn't say it. I said it on the scoop.
I told you I was about to say
I
this.
started watching wrestling in 1998, which that's when that version of DX was just running rampant. They were awesome, and so that holds a special place in my heart as just a badass group.
And in my
Triple H was
butthole.
my favorite wrestler at the time. Still one of my all-time favorites, just off of that run. DX was awesome, but the original DX was very, very raw. Not to make a pun, but
No,
they
I like that.
really pushed the absolute limits of what they could get away with, even on cable television.
Suck it.
So,
And it was awesome. So I love that version as well. I don't think the reunited DX is even in the conversation. Honestly,
Yeah.
that
I
was
think
it was
more of like a nostalgia run.
That's all it was a nostalgia thing.
it was nostalgia and it was cool, but especially in 2009, I think maybe they were a little more serious. But when they came back in 2006, it might as well have been a fucking cartoon.
They were like the New Day. It was a comedy bit. It really
Yeah, I
was.
mean, whenever you're sitting there, I mean, woo, Vince loves cock, ooh, so edgy. Oh, I'm dumping a bunch of shit, apparently turds, on the fucking Spirit Squad. That's some corny ass shit, man.
Yeah.
yes, I do still feel this way. 100%. The reunion, complete nostalgia. It wasn't like I was so pumped for it because I was there at Mania 22 whenever Shawn first did the suck it thing off the ladder to Vince and all that. And I was so like ready for it, but then it came back and it was corny, dude. And I'm a huge New Day fan, so
The old DX would not have. They would have had a better idea than that, I think.
Them coming out in the tanks at SummerSlam 2009 was pretty cool, though.
That was
That
yeah.
was-
I'm not saying I wasn't still a fan of DX because I like both those guys, but
They were just past pushing the envelope shit.
yeah, I mean Triple H was already working in other capacities with WWE, so the original DX was fighting against the machine, and the 2006 DX was the machine. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Yeah,
well,
well-
let's.
no, I'm not saying I didn't like DX. I still very much like them. They just weren't like edgy, like pushing the boundaries of what's allowed on television and shit like that. Like, I liked them as a group, but it wasn't the same at all. Not really.
let's just say this because I heard Shawn Michaels say this in a recent podcast. The only reason for the DX to get back together was to win the tag titles one time, which they did, and to push a shit ton of merchandise to get some royalty checks.
I bought some of that.
And they
My
definitely
God, I
did
know
that.
that they did that.
They did that. And not only that, but being at the stages of their respective careers that they were, reuniting as DX really took a lot of individual pressure. They were able to really balance it out on each other. And to your point, yeah, Triple H was already doing the front office thing, so it was a very, for two guys that were even back then
Yeah,
past
I
their
wasn't-
prime.
I wasn't watching like a whole lot of wrestling just in general whenever New Age Outlaws came back, but I knew they came back. I knew they won the tag team titles and everything, but I don't know. It's so strange when they would bring them back to being like, to like support a corporation type thing whenever they were used to be DX. Like it's like the opposite of what they were.
It was a very easy angle for them to do. The matches that they were in were fairly simple and straightforward. They weren't risky, and they
Well, let me just cut you off there 1 minute, Slick.
Hold on,
Triple
I'm
H
still
tore
listening. I'm
his
just
quad
moving a
in one of
fan.
those matches that you say weren't risky.
well, exactly my point. So, I mean, if there's still the inherent risk there, imagine if he was still working just by himself full time. So, my point is doing the DX thing really, even though yeah, there were still risks involved. There's always risks in professional wrestling. Doing the tag thing really helped them out a lot in terms of staying relevant on TV, but not really kicking the crap out of themselves in the process, which Triple H still managed to do that. Now,
that's why I hold the post-WrestleMania DX in high regard, because they had the best segments on the show. They were really funny. They were edgy. They did crazy shit that you hadn't seen before.
Everybody loved them.
so
Yeah, man, it was fun. It was the fun part of the show. They got the hot chicks to flash the crowd. I mean, it was great.
now nobody
When
asked
the
me.
New Age Outlaws were completely awesome, and as much as people like to dog on X-Pac and say X-Pac he this, blah blah blah, X-Pac was super fucking over during that period of time. Everybody loved X-Pac.
And one of the biggest moments of the Monday Night Wars happened because of X-Pac coming back to join DX.
That's right, and that was the night right after WrestleMania 14, right?
Yep. That's when the Outlaws
Yeah, I
joined
thi- I
DX
think-
also.
I think the last
Right.
match
Now
with
nobody
Kane
asked me
was
my opinion.
chill out, Noah. I think the last match with Kane was that one where he came back and Shawn came back, and it was just like, not many people really liked that match. But, you know, it was all right for what it was, but yeah. If I was Shawn, I probably would count that as a regret that I came back and did that. I wouldn't say that was the best because they were evil during that, in my opinion. I still liked them. Like, you know, there are a lot of people. Triple H was my first favorite wrestler. And, like, whenever he turned evil, like, I still love DX, what was left of it, which at that point was just the New Age Outlaws and X-Pac. And I liked the whole, they were, like, hanging on by a thread. Then Billy Gunn left, and it was Road Dogg and X-Pac and all that. And whenever they reunited, and each stood on, like, one of the four corners and shit, I literally jumped so high I touched the roof. And I was like, or the ceiling, I mean, you know, I'm 14 years old or whatever. And it was awesome. But then, you know, it turned more into the McMahon-Helmsley thing, and it wasn't so much about pranks and fun and all that. But it was still good, but not great. I mean, which would I rather remember? Obviously, Taker at WrestleMania. Yeah, no question.
Which
Well,
DX did I like?
About to get to that, Noah. So, of the three, even though we've already kind of discarded the 2006, what do you think? What do you think, buddy?
I am going to say that out of the three incarnations of DX, my personal favorite was, just like the NWO, you have to go with the original.
Actually, there were three incarnations of DX, but there were actually 4 times that they were together.
Yeah, because then they reunite again into like 09.
Well, no, they reunited after Triple H won his first world title. after the whole corporate turning on X-Pac at WrestleMania 15 and
Oh,
everything.
and like right after '99 SummerSlam, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were with the Stooges and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know what you're talking. The version of DX that led into the McMahon Helmsley shit. Yeah. Whenever they reunited that time, dude, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, I was such a mark because
I'm
they
gonna
had
say it
broken
right
up.
here. I'm
DX
gonna
was
say
my
it right
favorite shit. I loved them. I wanted to see them
I
get back
shouldn't talk
together.
live to
Whenever
you
they
because-
finally did that one night, I was like, wait, what's happening? Who's running out? That X-Pac and Billy Gunn's here. What's happening? And then they each fucking went onto one turnbuckle each.
I should have known.
I swear
would
to
say
God, dude, I
this.
jumped off the fucking couch and hit the fucking ceiling because I was so excited. And then as it went on, it was kind of a letdown because it wasn't the same DX. It was DX. They didn't all
Wow.
seem to be a
I'm
cohesive
saying the
unit. They
exact
didn't
same
all work
shit.
together. It was more let's put over Triple H. That's our main focus. Make sure he stays champion. They were more like minions rather than partners at that point. So it kind of was a letdown, but
But they
still
had the DX Express.
Yeah,
we did
Future
have
Shocker.
the DX Express
DX Express
for sure. So okay, so Noah, you say you got to go with the original. Why do you got to go with the
I have to
original?
go with the original. Now, I did like the version 2.0 of DX. I liked it, but much like with the NWO, what started
Yeah.
it all was the core group of guys, and you got to
And
always go
Rick
with
Rude.
that. So,
Rick Rude, yeah.
like you said, with Triple H, Michaels,
Triple
and
H bar.
China, they really pushed the boundaries of what standards and
Call China a guy?
huh?
Did you just call China a guy?
No.
Yeah, you said
Rick
corporate
Rude.
guys.
Oh my God,
Well,
Mike.
That's an interchangeable term, Michael.
Only if she had a penis, and apparently she didn't.
Yikes.
Okay. So anyway, they pushed the boundaries of what standards and practices for cable television would allow. It was very edgy. It was them scratching and clawing their way to beat WCW in the Monday Night Wars. And when you have the original DX, when you have Stone Cold Steve Austin coming up to just about
He's
become
not
the
really
biggest
here,
in pro
Tornado
wrestling,
Anthony.
DX.
Just-
and-
I'm watching
and
old
Austin came
videos.
at the exact same time. It was just amazing television to watch. Now,
But what's
I
up,
did
dude?
like the second incarnation of DX, but you always are going to compare it to the original. You always are.
I have to. I mean, it was amazing television. Like I said, I started watching in '98, but I've gone back, and even recently, I was watching Raws from. I started right after the Montreal Screwjob, and every single week, it's just classic DX moment after classic DX moment. Like all the stuff you see in the highlight reels is it's happening on a week-to-week basis as a full segment. So it's terrific television, and I'm not taking anything away from the original incarnation, but I would
always-
just say, me personally, my favorite is the second.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like I'll always go back and start to watch those Raws and like be like, okay, I'm gonna watch them in order, and then like I'll stop for a while and I'll forget where the hell I was, and then it's like I go back and I'm watching the same shit over and over again. But it's all good.
I mean,
It's good.
remember
Good
the
wrestling.
DX Nation of Domination controversy?
Wasn't that with the second version?
No, that was the original. Wasn't it?
No, it
The
wasn't.
original?
Oh, where he said Bret Hart called them the N-word?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that.
I am still.
I was
very
thinking
much
whenever
the-
they dressed up as the Nation.
the same person.
That's-
See,
I
I
guess
like
that's
the
not
one where
controversial.
I like the one where they dressed up as the corporation better, because they had HB Gay. Cause he's always bending over.
Yikes.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I guess that's
I don't
basically our
remember
opinions on it, guys. Thanks for watching as usual. Go ahead and list things down there for us to choose from. If we didn't pick your topic, post it again or post a new one. We only do this once a week, so we're doing our best to get to them. Anyway, so that's the show. You guys got any plugs? What do you got, Mike?
All right, they don't need to plug anything. This was going on 6 years ago, so I don't think their plugs would be current anymore. All right, hold on. Let me find the next episode. Bum, 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 bum. I need to go back and I thought that was the first episode, so I'm so confused. This one has over 1,000 views. Oh, what if Stone Cold hadn't walked out of the WWE? Gotta listen to it every time. I think I paid like $5 for someone to make that.
What's up, guys? It's me, it's that ERIC.
Look at that fresh-faced
I am
little
the
boy.
People's co-host, Eric Barnes, and this is The Late Debates. As per usual, I'm being joined by the extreme icon, Mike Nagel.
Let's raise the roof up in this bitch.
We're going to raise the shit out of it, bro. And Mr. Entertainment himself, Noah Donish.
Let's just be clear for a second. The reason why Mike is talking about raising roofs and acting all gangsta hip, we were just talking about rioting after sports team championships. So literally, we're talking about people raising the roof so they can steal 50 pairs of Air Jordans to sell.
You didn't raise the roof. You had your hands up like the cops are about to arrest you. Or shoot.
That too.
This is raising the roof. You were like in Airheads.
Yeah, did Booker T not teach you anything about how to raise the roof, Noah?
No, I learned absolutely. I learned jack fucking shit from Booker T.
You learned how to rob a Wendy's.
I gotta say, I feel like shit, I look like shit, and I have to take a shit, but I'm still here.
You don't need to announce that you look like shit. We can all tell with your little French mustache goatee
So
bullshit that you
savage.
got going.
So
Don't even
mean.
get me started. I look like a lawn gnome right now.
You look like a homeless guy who got handed a fedora.
Thank you.
Mike is so
Thank
savage,
you.
dude.
Appreciate it.
There's nothing wrong with looking like a homeless fedora man. That's a homeless hipster. That's like the look now.
Homeless hipster. Okay, I'll keep telling myself that.
It's funny because there's a street in Cleveland where I live. It's called Coventry, and all you see is fucking hipsters, and they all
The
wear
word
that
Coventry
same exact
made no
hat,
laugh.
except they have nicer looking beard, but they smell really bad.
Hey, at least I smell good.
You gotta love that hipster smell.
I take a lot of
Hipster
pride in
stench.
that.
They go into all the Goodwills and shit I go into, and all the thrift stores and the toy stores and stuff. And just makes me not want to work some days.
I hear you.
Hey, at least it's not like people that we mutually are acquaintances of that don't want to work every day,
Oops.
Who, Aaron?
but attend LA Rams preseason games instead.
And break a lot of toilets, according to your guys' stories.
I don't even remember
True.
what story they told me.
True.
Anyway, all right. So, today's topic, we're going to talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin, and we actually have
What?
two.
What?
We actually had two topics from Stone Cold Steve Austin. What if this one's first one's from Vernon?
No, you gotta say, what if?
The first one's from Vernon Kazma. I think that's how you say it. Kazama, Abracadabra. I don't know. What if Steve Austin never turned heel at WrestleMania X7? And then Interstate Kyle, what if Stone Cold never walked out on WWE in 2002?
What if Stone Cold
Um,
Austin never walked out of WWE?
So I guess we'll just go in chronological order. So first, what if Steve Austin never turned heel at WrestleMania X7? He was facing The Rock, and at the end of that match decided, hey, I'm going to join up with Vince McMahon. What do you think about that, Noah?
And eat a lot of what a burger.
What? You know,
What the fuck?
I think that it would have been much better to have him stay as a baby. Like, when you talk about pro wrestling, when you boil down pro wrestling to its base, it's
Boil it down,
villains
Noah.
against heroes versus villains.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
WrestleMania 17 marked the end
didn't realize
of
that.
Rock's quote Attitude Era run. He left. He started his career in Hollywood, and arguably the biggest babyface in the company at the time was gone. And I think that Stone Cold Steve Austin, who, let's be honest here, Stone Cold Steve Austin had a pretty damn short run as the company's top babyface. It wasn't that long at all. And his potential,
Would have been a little
his
longer if he
potential
hadn't
could
got
have
hurt.
been way high. Like, it could have easily led him to the. He could have been a perpetual babyface from 1997 till he retired in 2003, and I feel that Steve Austin was a personification of
he just had
WWF. And I think what WWF was really trying to do and was hoping to recreate magic-wise was when they started this whole Alliance angle. Alliance was like WWF's answer for like the NWO. It was like the us versus them, and they were trying to, in a way, recapture the magic of Hulk Hogan turning heel and basically turning his back on the fans. But I think what would have been a much better route to go, have Steve Austin be the guy that kicks the shit out of the Alliance and be the leader. And I think that would have been a great. And granted, The Rock came back before the end of he was at Survivor Series. He was in the main event elimination match, and yeah, that's all well and good. But I personally would have liked that route better. Have Steve Austin be your top babyface, and then have Alliance guys actually be WCW guys. Gee, what a novel idea!
Calm down, buddy.
Well, the WCW guys that they brought in were not exactly, besides, say maybe Booker T and a couple of others, were not exactly the top WCW guys. So maybe, obviously they thought, we need to put somebody strong with the Alliance so that they look like a credible threat to the WWF. But it just never really made any type of sense why Stone Cold, who harbored ill will towards WCW and Eric Bischoff and everything, why he would jump ship to now become the leader of the Alliance. That never made sense to me.
Me either, Ebar.
Not at all. It was
You're right.
Not. It goes back to Vince McMahon's ideology towards pro wrestling fans. He genuinely feels that wrestling fans forget what happened 3 weeks ago. And they tend to rewrite history. They tend to ignore a lot of things. And for the true passionate wrestling fans like us, it's irritating. It's irritating.
And let's make no mistake about it, everybody is pretty much in agreement.
This is the old late debate, Matt, if you look at the title.
Was a bad decision. Stone Cold will tell you that.
I don't think it was a bad decision.
Well, what do you think about it, Mike?
Okay, so Stone Cold has mentioned a number of times if he could go back and change anything, he would align himself with Vince and then stunner him after he won the title, and then go back to being a heel. And honestly, I think him becoming a heel showed a depth of range in his character that you can't see otherwise with him being a babyface. I think his heel run was way more enjoyable than the last part of his face run. Him doing the stupid stuff with Deborah and Kurt Angle and Vince. I thought it was really entertaining, and I really liked it.
Was he a good guy when he was...
The part where I have a problem
doing
is
that
when
corny
the Alliance
Vince stuff?
comes in, and Steve Austin is being asked to turn back to the old Steve Austin. He gets a gigantic monster pop when he comes back from the friendly tap and beats the shit out of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do the old Rock thing where he got kicked out of the Nation and was face for a few weeks and then joined the Corporation at Survivor Series. They did the same fucking thing with Steve Austin. They had him fucking be a babyface for a little while, kick the shit out of the Alliance and then join them. And then the whole Alliance thing, I mean, it was really played out. I did not like Steve Austin in the Alliance at all.
They changed his music. That really irritated me.
They made him a bitch, too. Like a real bitch. I know he was a bitch when he was Mr. McMahon's champion and everything, but that was funny because of the segments and everything.
I think basically what we all agree on here is that whether or not you think it was a good idea for Stone Cold to turn heel at that time, the bad decision was for him to join the Alliance, because him with the Alliance was not good. Heel Rock has always been good. Whether you're going back to like 1998 or 2003 or 4, Rock has always been a good heel.
The segments with him in the Alliance weren't funny.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't entertaining. The 30-minute promos were god-awful. And, I think they should have ended the heel run right there when the Alliance came in, and he came in and whooped everybody's ass, and I think that's when Stone Cold should have been back to being Stone Cold.
Yeah, and that would have been a solid little heel run, him and Vince. And I completely agree with you on that. That's a tremendous route that they could have gone.
it definitely did broaden his character to a point where he was able to incorporate comedy in a way that if he was just trying to stick to the face, badass, mean, Stone Cold,
Sacramento promo, yeah, that was classic.
Steve Austin, I don't think he would have ever, been backstage singing fucking Kumbaya. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that shit was hilarious, and I don't care
It
what
was
anybody
hilarious.
else
Yeah,
thinks.
it was funny.
I thought that was the most entertaining part of that whole deal was him in the non-wrestling role with Kurt Angle. I think him and Kurt Angle played off each other fucking perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a perfect example of a kind of a strange bedfellows that just worked out really, really well.
True.
Well, the thing was with Austin, Future Shocker, whenever he came back, whenever he's stopped being a heel, and I feel like Vince was like pushing him down the card a little bit. He's facing Scott Hall at WrestleMania, and The Rock is facing Hulk Hogan. And then with the whole him taking his ball and going home thing with Brock Lesnar, it's like you add all that shit on top of each other, and then he's gone, and by the time he comes back, he basically can only have one more match, and that's with The Rock, and that was still hype, very hype. But then after that, he's like Sheriff Stone Cold, and he's riding his four-wheeler around, and, I think maybe if he wasn't hurt, he could have, reached back to his peak. Only took him 20 years or so.
It was.
I thought it was great. And then you had Deborah being all weird because Steve was being like how I guess he was in real life with her, being controlling and crazy, and I thought it made for good TV.
I don't know
I'm
why
sorry
Nash was
if
there.
People don't agree with me. about
Personally,
the
I
whole
like Scott
heel
Hall
thing.
more than Kevin
I
Nash,
loved
but
it until the alliance thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, basically, so what if he hadn't turned heel? I guess maybe his character wouldn't have been as broad. It's kind of hard to say, sure, he still could have feuded with Kurt Angle, but I don't know. I agree. I kind of like.
how can you forget Deborah's Cookies?
that
And
part of it that came off it?
Honestly, because there were no strong leaders in the alliance. Basically, that whole feud he had with Booker T after the alliance thing was over would have been pushed up, and I don't know if it would have gotten over as well.
That was a pretty good feud, though.
because there really wasn't anybody strong in the alliance for Steve Austin to feud with.
no.
Stone Cold and Booker
RVD
T.
wasn't being built up yet. And you had all the jobbers from WCW, you had all the ECW guys who weren't really up in the upper echelon. So I don't know if it would have worked if Steve Austin wasn't the leader of the alliance. I just know I hated it.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
and
That's
I don't
fair.
think that you're alone in that. So, okay, so let's jump ahead a year.
Alistair
A little
remembers
more than
Deborah's
a year.
Cookies.
Stone Cold leaves June 2002. Doesn't want to lose to Brock. What?
Not true. Not true. He
Not,
didn't
not
wanna
that he didn't
Brock.
want to lose to Brock. It was that he wanted a better build-up to lose to
Yeah.
Brock. He didn't want to do it for free on a Monday night. Yeah.
Right, just like a throwaway match with no build-up, no nothing. And it was a King of the Ring qualifying match, not even a King of the Ring tournament match.
Yes, that really. But it
Can't
really
blame him for being insulted.
made
by
Steve
that.
Austin feel like he was not worth anything.
Well, consider it. He was in the main event of WrestleMania 17. By WrestleMania 18, he's fighting Scott Hall nowhere near the main event.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, hey, let's just, without any build-up, have you lose to Brock Lesnar in a King of the Ring qualifier.
His-
Great point,
His
T-Bar.
frustration,
Great
his
point.
frustration almost mirrors the frustration that CM Punk had.
Yeah,
It
the
was-
only difference is CM Punk had a better lawyer and didn't lose any royalties.
Exactly. But I think that
Yeah.
Steve Austin, in a way, he needed, and I'm not condoning the way in which he did it, because when you break it down, he did walk out
Break
on
it
the
down.
fans, and he walked out on the fans in a time where the company was really kind of hurting for real star power, and we weren't ready to say goodbye to Stone Cold Steve
I
Austin.
don't know if I'd say he walked
And
out
his
on the
career was
fans.
winding down, and we were on borrowed time in terms of how many more matches we could have with him. And
I don't remember that
What's-
future
Answer
shocker.
was two.
what's
What'd he
frustrating
say?
as fuck to me is not only the fact that he walked out, but how they brought him back. And how they brought him back really makes me. It really makes Austin seem like a hypocrite that he'd agree to come back under these terms. And granted, he obviously went over, but to come back feuding with Eric Bischoff, it was a really disappointing return. And seeing Eric Bischoff come out in that ridiculous karate outfit, like doing the
But that's all he really
kung
could
fu,
do
whatever the
at the
fuck
time.
it was ridiculous to watch. I didn't enjoy it, and honestly, I think Austin needed a break. I think that given everything that Steve Austin has brought to the table, done for the company, I think Vince really got complacent with Steve and felt that he could just treat him as if he treated anybody else on the roster, like it's my way or the highway. And with someone like a Steve Austin, who's a top tier talent, he's that for a reason. He should be consulted. He should be approached, not necessarily given like a Hulk Hogan WCW creative control, but it should be a conversation, not a dictation. And I would agree with that.
That's a good point.
But the
Doc.
other thing that you have to look at, Steve Austin was right all along, because look what Brock Lesnar did a year or two later. He left the company just like Steve Austin did.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
True.
But at least Brock's contract right now.
He pulled the same shit and made it really ultimately makes Austin sound like a genius. Which
Yeah, that makes sense, Future Shock.
And at least Stone Cold actually loved the business versus
Oh,
Brock
yeah.
Lesnar, who gave two shits about it.
Yeah, he still hates the business.
Right.
I don't think he hates the business.
Well, you can't make
because
platinum
he likes the
records
money.
with
I think
the-
he hates the fans and
with the
people
shitty
like you,
beat
Noah, because he
behind
tried to
it.
run
You know what I
over with
mean?
the car.
For sticking with that analogy.
How many others has he tried to run down in parking lots?
I would
We'll
like to
never
know
know.
the answer to that. I'll hire the same lawyer that's representing Buff Bagwell, and we'll set up a class action lawsuit. Gets Brock Lesnar.
There you go.
I don't know.
What?
No, you go ahead. It's your
Well, I was just going to say, I do think that they were
It was
kind of
all of our show.
just treating Stone Cold at that period of time like he wasn't the dude that basically saved the WWF. You know what I
They
mean?
treated him like a mid-carder.
I mean, I understand you can't be at the top all the time, but like you said, Noah, you have to consider what he's done for the business, how many asses he's put in those seats before, and for that reason alone, give him at least some creative control. Like, you know, John Cena, he has some creative control. Like, he
Yeah,
didn't
at
want
least
to lose.
don't even necessarily give him creative control. Make him part of the process. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't like this idea, Steve? What do you think we should do?
I mean,
And
here's what it
let's maybe
boils
meet
down
I'd
somewhere
be
in the
down to
middle.
do more shows,
Look, this is
dude.
what it
It's
boils
it's
down
like
to.
Noah
By that
is
time,
just
like
too busy,
2001,
basically.
2002. He didn't like the direction of the company. He didn't like WWF changing to WWE. He thought it was stupid. And then on top of it, you got all these Hollywood writers in there, not wrestling fans,
He's a
fucking
busy boy.
booking everything and writing the shows. They could give two shits about Stone Cold Steve Austin because they probably never seen the product. So,
Good
I
point.
mean, I can understand his frustration. I probably would have done the same thing. I'm the guy who made millions of dollars for this company and turned it around
Mhm.
in the fight against WCW. I'm not losing on a fucking unadvertised match on Monday Night Raw. Fuck you. I want my money.
Yeah, and I get that they were trying to build Brock Lesnar up, and he won King of the Ring, and then went on to SummerSlam to win the championship and everything. But why make Stone Cold Steve Austin of all people? Why try to make Stone Cold
I don't know,
just
honestly,
a quick
Future Shocker.
notch in Brock Lesnar's?
Also,
That
you wanna
doesn't
do a
make
late
any
debate?
sense.
Look how
I mean, it's a crew show.
Look how
It's
they
not
did the
necessarily
build-up with
just.
The Rock and Brock.
I mean,
for
we had
SummerSlam.
Tony H. We had Cap.
did it.
Exactly.
Vignette package for everything and showing them.
I'm not sure who all. I mean,
weeks.
as we watch through
Why-
these, we'll see some
Why
different
not
faces.
have Stone Cold and Brock fight at Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, any of
Yeah,
those?
there's any number of ways you could do it.
I
Honestly,
mean, that
Because late debate. The reason it says late debate at the beginning with the crew, it doesn't say with Ebar in the crew or with Eric, Noah, and Mike. You know what I mean? Like, it says with the crew. So I've had numerous different members of the crew be on the late debate with me before. You know what I mean? Like, it was never about trying to be exclusive. I thought the crew was a good community, and a lot of different people had a lot of different good takes. So I always mixed it up. I don't know who is the host of which of these topics, so I'm going in kind of blind here as we're watching through these.
would have been so much money.
What's up, Free
honestly,
Timer?
a
It would've.
freaking Steve Austin versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19 could have possibly been a much more impactful match than seeing.
Free Timer, I know you're kind of new, but right now what I'm doing is watching through old video, like 5 to 6 year old videos right now that I had done with other people, basically talking about wrestling and stuff. So, what's good with you, buddy? This is a good Noah freeze frame as well.
Rock versus Austin again, and seeing Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar at 19. I personally would have liked to see Brock and Austin at 19 instead.
They should have just held on. Like those two should not have crossed paths before King of the Ring, or even before SummerSlam, for that matter. Because if they had waited, and then they could have billed it as these two have never had a match before. It's the first time ever. It's Stone fucking Cold Steve Austin and Brock Lesnar, and
all right, Free Timer, we'll have
just like
leave the stream
everybody
open
else,
if you want to
Brock
lurk.
Lesnar runs through him and beats him clean, and Brock Lesnar is the man. He's beaten everybody.
And I don't think that Stone Cold would have had a problem with that at that point.
He did jobs.
He did plenty of jobs.
He was a jobber.
That was a good story.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was a jobber.
Doesn't mind losing if it's for the right reasons. You're not just going to
pin
the star in the business to pin the star in the business.
Preach.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would
Austin
have made sense.
Before anything else, before you bring egos into play, Stone Cold Steve Austin is a smart businessman.
And he was willing to do business, which is something that a lot of the people forget to mention. He just didn't want to give it away for free.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that makes sense. So as far as the question goes, like what would happen if he would have stayed, I think the thing that would have made him stay is just not cross paths with Brock Lesnar at that point. And then, like we have been saying, they could have pushed it back and made a shit ton of money.
Yep. Like a lot of money.
The thing too, though, that I guess the only one that they were really saving for Brock at that point was The Rock. At that SummerSlam, because like he beat Hulk Hogan on a SmackDown. Should stream DVD. That's a good idea. I probably will, Free Timer. Honestly, yeah, I like that idea. But yeah, he beat Hulk Hogan. Brock Lesnar versus Hulk Hogan was just on a random episode of SmackDown. You know what I mean? So I don't know what their whole process was, because these could have been main event after main event after main event of pay-per-views. But they were just throwing everything and having Brock beat everybody, to where it's like, now who does he face is not going to be interesting. I don't know. Even Holly said that Hardcore Holly wasn't ready, or that Brock wasn't ready. I mean, Hardcore Holly paid the price for sandbagging him, dude. Got a broken neck and everything, so...
Big money.
Anyway, so
I think
those are two topics.
Honestly, it could have been one of the biggest WrestleMania main events of all time.
Yeah, and look at Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from that match, but let's be real here. Kurt Angle was like a foot in the grave during that match, and Brock Lesnar almost killed himself in that match. So
that's true.
I personally think that fucking Brock Lesnar and Steve Austin would have been a
You can tell my personality hasn't changed. I haven't matured at all, because I still laugh at the exact same moments that I laughed during this video.
Like, okay, that was a great moment in wrestling history whenever those two.
And I don't think it would have been beneficial for...
Well, wasn't the storyline with Hardcore Holly just that he had broken Hardcore Holly's neck? And so that is a great freeze frame of Mike. But, he broke his neck or whatever, so he came back and kind of... I mean, I don't think that they were ever going to build that up for more than a month. But for him to even get that much was pretty good. For Hardcore Holly to get that much was pretty good. Because he was never above even, like, IC level. And I don't even think he was ever even IC champ. He was just, like, in the hunt a couple times.
Brock to... I don't think it was
RVD versus Lesnar was good.
Austin at WrestleMania 19, because The Rock was focusing on getting his Hollywood career off the ground. He wasn't just coming up in the wrestling business, and it wasn't a passing of the torch from Steve Austin to The Rock, because The Rock was looking at becoming the biggest thing in Hollywood.
Yeah, but when you when you retire, Noah, you go out on your back.
I know that, but going out on his back to The Rock was the wrong move.
Well, The Rock had to face Goldberg the next month.
Exactly.
So,
Thank
you know
you,
what I mean?
Ebar.
A debuting Goldberg.
Thank you, Ebar.
So, you don't want The Rock to have just lost at WrestleMania. I mean,
So
I
you don't
understand
have
what
him
you're saying,
face
Noah.
Goldberg.
I don't think it really even mattered because Triple H buried Goldberg so bad, like nobody even mentioned him fighting The Rock or any of that shit. So I don't think it mattered.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
But that was Goldberg's first
But yeah,
big match
anyway,
whenever
so
he
those are
showed
two
up was
topics.
against The Rock.
If you have questions you
I don't
would like
think
to
we
hear us
answered that
talk
second
about
question
in
at
depth,
all.
in a nerdy way on the late debate, then leave
It was supposed to be what if he had stayed, and we just talked about him leaving, and I don't think we answered that question, but that's fine.
the comments down below, and we'll choose some. If we didn't answer it this week, keep trying. We'll probably get to it some year.
Nope.
Anyway, that's
We
all
won't.
for today's show.
Crystal
so, if you have
Pepsi.
any plugs? Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
go
Mike's
out.
obviously plugging Crystal Pepsi.
Go out and buy Crystal Pepsi if you can find it. It's like $40 for a 4-pack on Amazon. So if you can find it locally, good luck.
That's too much.
Cool.
Where can we find you at, Mike?
You can find me on the YouTube at FTW Nage, on the Instagram at XMB Nagel,
got-
and on the Twitter at Ultimo Nagel, and on the Facebook, don't add me or you'll end up in the spam. Got it?
Oh.
What about you, Noah?
Ooh.
Follow me on Twitter at Noah Donish. Like my official Facebook fan page is facebook.com/official Noahmania. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. It's called
We haven't.
Chocolate milk party going on, and you're invited.
Aren't you excited?
Getting down till the dawn. Ooh. Chocolate milk will make you strong,
Crew for life.
like a vitamin
All right.
when you're drinking it.
So, what's the next one here? 1.8K views this one has. What if Bischoff had bought WCW? Sheamus is another I felt like wasn't very good. What do you mean? I like Sheamus. I mean, I think for the era that he won championships in, yeah, there's a chocolate milk party, free timer. And you're invited. Aren't you excited?
What's up, guys? It's me. It's the ERIC. I am the People's Co-host, Eric Barnes, and this is the Late Debate. Today, I'm being joined by Stolen Thunder, Noah Donish.
That's Mr. Entertainment.
That was a very
Donish.
brief
And
joke.
Oh,
I'm very happy to be here once again on the Late Debate.
That's a good
I
question,
love it.
Future Shocker.
I love the Late Debate.
Wow. He
don't
just
do
gave
that.
a lot of
It's my
kisses.
favorite show on YouTube. I watch it. I
No,
watch
you
it
don't.
every single week.
Never.
Pleasure
I
myself
guarantee
to
you.
it.
Nope.
You don't. You probably have never been to my channel before.
I have been to your channel because I was on your live stream the other day.
Okay, once.
So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
He doesn't
And
want
to a
to hear it.
lesser extent, the extreme icon Mike Nagel, but he's not here right now. But he'll
He'll be back
maybe-
in just a second.
Yeah,
He'll be back in just a second.
What's he?
he'll
Is
be,
it? He
he'll be
pooping?
back right after these messages.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So anyway,
Sorry
this is
about
Late Debate.
Nightbot.
As
Free
usual,
timer.
we choose a topic based on stuff that people post as comments. So if you have something you want to hear us talk about, that's the best way to do it. Leave a comment,
Down
and
below
we might.
in the comment section.
Alistair, this whole stream is just
It's-
going to
it's
be
down
me
below,
watching
for
old
sure.
late debates. So
So-
Down to Chinatown,
buckle
baby.
up, settle in.
Downtown. Like
Yeah,
Petula,
down
like,
there.
Like Petula Clark
Soccer
says,
mom, America.
downtown.
Who?
Who's what?
Petula Clark. She's the one that wrote that song Downtown.
What the
The
hell
old
is this
song?
guy
Yes,
talking
the
about?
old song.
Oh, okay.
See, I
Downtown.
know these things. I'm educated.
I
don't know about that.
You're just like a dude that wanted to actually live in the 40s for some reason, and were born in the wrong time.
Shut up.
Oh, that's why he wears the
I mean, it's
fedora.
true. That's why you wear the fedora. It's not because you're a hipster. It's because you wish you were in the 40s. Anyway, so today's question comes from Slasher1511. Could you guys possibly talk about what would have happened if Eric Bischoff and Venture Media would have bought WCW? What would have happened with WCW? Would they still be around today? Would TNA even exist? Not that it's existing by much, but doom, psh, LOL.
To be fair,
Okay,
the guy
so-
typed "badum." LOL.
Let's start off by the the main reason that Eric Bischoff and Venture Media did not purchase WCW was because they didn't have a TV deal. So
They thought
let's
they
go
did.
ahead.
They thought they did, but it felt
Well, yeah, and
A fedora
basically
probably
at the
looked
last
good.
second because of the whole AOL Time Warner merger shit.
Bro,
So-
a fedora probably looked good like back in like the 1930s or 40s when you had a full fucking zoot suit on or something. But when you're like a hipster in 2016, no, dude, you look weird. You just look weird.
So in this scenario, they have a TV deal, I suppose. So would WCW still be around today? What do you think, Noah?
So, honestly, TV is a weird business, okay?
He's so
And-
torn.
Well, let's look at it this way. Whenever, WCW would have definitely had to have gone away for a little while, no matter what.
Yeah, they would have had to go into hiatus for a little while, and
It wouldn't have been Nitro back on the next week.
Yeah.
certainly.
no, they
If you're
So-
playing like LA Noir, they
So,
look good in the
especially
fedoras.
considering the time period that this was in, when they returned, it still would have been a huge deal. They could have gotten massive ratings for the first new WCW Nitro or
That's
whatever
the
they
key
call the
word.
You
show.
don't wear a fedora,
First
period.
WCW
Now, Future
Nitro,
Shocker.
but would they have maintained that momentum?
That's the thing. I mean, it could be like an WWECW type thing
WWECW.
where the first fucking show did gangbusters because people were hungry for it, and then people saw what they put on that first show, and it immediately was garbage.
The
because
zombie.
it was
Was-
WWE.
was it
they
the
didn't
zombie?
know how to do ECW.
LA
so
Noir is a great
in-
game. I
I
have it on
think-
my computer.
At least beginning, it would have been
I might stream LA Noir sometime. Actually, I probably will at some point. It's on my computer. Great game. Love it.
very important to have a very, very solid first show as a
Yeah,
comeback,
but-
and not some bullshit like they were pulling at the end of their run. The extreme icon is here, Mike Nagel.
Something must have
We
looked.
just got started, buddy. So, I don't necessarily think that comparing a return.
I wish
of
his camera would have
WCW
came on to see what I was laughing at there.
ECW is a really fair comparison, though, because ECW really appealed to a
LA
very
Noir ain't that
niche
hard.
segment of wrestling.
Please don't
fans.
ever say that like that again.
Yeah, that's definitely not the right pronunciation.
niche.
Call it niche.
Niche.
Don't be one of those stuck up people
Niche.
who say,
Say niche.
well, it only appeals to a certain niche of people.
Niche
No,
of
I-
people.
I
I'm
think-
off to drive my Porsche.
Whatever. You get what I.
I'm joining Mike in mouthing Noah here, but I think that Noah's right. It's niche. Find us. These videos are from like 6 years ago almost, so yeah, I'm taking a trip back in time to see what I think about them now. What do you think about that, Finest?
I'm fucking saying here. ECW is a very different product and a very specific product as opposed to a
Hey,
more
fine,
generalized
go back and watch your
wrestling
videos.
promotion such as a WCW, WWE. So that's not a fair.
Finest, why don't you go back and watch that video where your whole family tried to beat me at Nintendo World Championships and couldn't? Because that's a good video, dude. I could go back and watch that.
comparison. That being said,
I'm sorry.
however,
That was me, and I love you.
is let's say Venture or Fusient Media Ventures, which is the actual name of the company. Fusient Media Ventures was Bischoff's company. Let's say they did buy it. Let's say AOL Time Warner said, "Okay, here's your time slot. Here's the problem, though.
You and your wife, or me and you, are divorced.
Them giving WCW time."
And yeah, he got fired up so easy. That's what made him
CBS
even that
or
much more
the
fun.
Channel they were going to be on when Nitro returns. That's only half the equation. Okay. Towards the end,
Nope,
in
Alistair, we're duking it out.
WCW, they were giving tickets away.
Me and you are
to
divorced.
fill
We
their
were married.
buildings. They were giving tickets away.
Was I
With
drunk?
WWE, for WWE to be profitable, they have to make money a number of ways. They have to make money through advertising on their television shows. They have to make
Advertising.
money through network subscriptions.
Network
They have
subscriptions.
to make money through merchandising.
Merchandise.
Through ticket
You're
sales to live.
forgetting one other key point.
Okay.
The Fusient would have been in the same boat WWE was when they purchased the rights to WCW. All the big time stars had contracts with Time Warner and not with Fusient or.
That's a good point.
Precisely. So,
That's
a good point, Mikey.
That was part of it. So they.
He probably doesn't like being
when
called
the
Mikey.
transaction happened, AOL Time Warner created a fake company just to manage those contracts because the contracts didn't transfer over with the sale. They legally could not.
Finest, even though we're
Because
divorced,
what
can
I
you
was
just
getting
like
at
leave the
just
stream
now
open
is
and
having
walk
the time
away?
slots only part of the equation. You have to be able to generate exponential amounts of money for this to be a profitable thing, and this is where TNA is struggling. TNA doesn't.
It would be
do
funny. I don't know if it would be
live
good
events.
entertainment,
They
Future Shocker.
tour live events, but very seldomly because they can't afford to go on the road. They give away their tickets to their TV tapings in Orlando. They do so-so merchandise. So it's
Well,
Yeah.
Universal actually gives away the tickets because it's an attraction at their theme park.
You don't have to get TNA tickets. You don't have to have a ticket to the theme park.
No, but it's an attraction there.
It's a
so-
value proposition to attract people to go to the amusement park. I get it, but the thing is, we're talking.
I like
full
seeing
part
Mike and
national
Noah
wrestling business and
disagree.
to stay afloat. And part of the reason why WCW was able to survive on life support for the last 4 years that they were.
Finest, I've heard
in
you
business
grabbed a few
under
pencils in your day.
Ted Turner, AOL Time
As a
Warner,
writer.
whatever the fuck you want to call it, was because they had Ted Turner's pockets bankrolling it.
Hey, Brady, let's just take a brief moment. Finest is retiring from being the editor of a paper. He's not going to be a writer anymore. He owns a comic book shop. He's given that all up. Yay, Finest. Good for you, buddy. Proud of Finest. Doesn't have to do that grind anymore. He likes the slim, sharp pencil. And he always has.
Did Fusient Media Ventures have the blood to keep their penis erect to keep WCW?
That's not true, Free Timer, because I played it on Xbox without any of the DLCs, and it made total sense. Although the one I have on Steam includes all the DLCs anyway. You're welcome, buddy. All the hearts for Finest.
W going. That's what I want to know. Because
You were about to say TNA, you weirdo.
Well, I feel like if they didn't, they wouldn't have been in line to purchase it in the first place if they didn't have some sort of game plan.
well, the only part of the reason they were able to buy it was because they, and I'm sure they did have a game plan, but it's harder than you think to compete with Vince McMahon unless you have Ted Turner's deep pockets didn't translate to ratings either. So it's
Well, I mean, ECW didn't have deep pockets, and at one point they were more successful than WCW was with their giant bankroll.
Great point.
So I don't think money at the end of the day really has anything to do with it.
That's a great point, Mike.
okay. So what's your opinion on it, Mike? Would they still be around today if you think?
Go
No.
tweet and tag
I
at
don't,
Noah
think, I don't think
Donish
Eric Bischoff's
to
heart
come
was
and
into
watch
it
this
from the
stream.
beginning when they told him no TV.
I don't think Noah watched him in the
That's
in the
why it
first
got
place,
dropped.
to be honest with you.
And even with TNA, I mean, you could see it when he came in with Hogan. He really didn't do anything. Him and Jason Hervey. Him and Jason Hervey had a couple different things they did, but
Oh yeah, the Black
didn't
Dahlia.
really translate into any success for TNA. I think he's more happy doing his reality TV shows that he's producing and pitching. I think he's making a lot more money. He's happier. He's doing different stuff, and it doesn't necessarily consume his life like wrestling did.
Noah actually deleted all the videos off of his channel, so we can't go back and watch old
I
scoops.
disagree with that because it's TV as a whole now, not just wrestling, but the whole entertainment industry. So
It'd still be politics, just a different
Yeah.
version of it.
That's fair.
if anything, it probably taught him how to navigate the politics better.
Okay.
Do you think that they, like you said, the contracts were different from the company itself? Although, whenever WWE bought WCW, they got a lot of the guys that wanted to just keep performing, rather than sit back and just collect a paycheck.
Like
You think-
DDP, I think made a mistake by getting his contract bought out and going right to WWE. I think in the long run he should have waited until
Well-
after everything happened, like everybody else, because
Wait.
he just got so fucked over royally in that.
I mean, DDP did get fucked over, but he didn't go over there initially with the first group. He had that weird stalker angle or whatever with Undertaker, right? Why'd he delete? I don't know. I mean, there was no real reason, but there's like one video on Noah's channel now, so you can't go watch old scoops or anything like that. Watch this from Lakewood, Colorado. Whatever happened to Noah? He's just a busy boy. And yeah, I think we're all doing well. What's up, Lady Blackstone? Good to see you. Noah doesn't listen to the people. Yeah. Noah got like a cushy government job, and you know he's still with Mary, and they're raising Shane, not Shane Storm from my YouTube channel, but a small boy named Shane. So yeah. Anyway, here we go. Vince was. Oh yeah, that was Vince, wasn't it? Has Noah ever watched? I don't think so. I don't think he's seen the product, but he's read about it a little bit. So
Yeah, I mean his storyline. Wow, really bad. But do you
Sarah's
think
storyline was not successful?
do you think of the WCW reboot under Eric Bischoff? Do you think that a lot of the talent would have continued with them, or do you think people would have just been like, all right, well, I could get paid to sit at home, so fuck off?
I think they would have. I think they would have renegotiated after their buyout was over, or not the buyout, but their contract. I mean, they had guaranteed money, and a lot of them who had the guaranteed money with Time Warner were older. Their bodies were breaking down, and they were taking that guaranteed
I
paycheck.
didn't say that,
you know, they
Future
knew
Shocker.
when
I
the
didn't
money
say
was
that.
coming. They knew what was up, and they didn't have to do shit, man. It's like a vacation. I would have done that.
So to Eric's point, when we first started, which was WCW had to have gone away for a little while to kind of revamp, retool. It wouldn't just been Nitro the next week. I think
Revamp,
that
retool.
WCW would have really gone through, when it came back in the immediate term, would have gone through a shortage of mainstream talent, because look at guys like Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan wanted one more WWF run that appealed to him. He knew that he could go to WWF, work some high-profile matches.
I gotta get
high-profile
Nightbot out of this
that he
chat,
wouldn't
dude.
otherwise be able to at that point in his career by staying with WCW.
He's being a real
He would have never
dickhead.
gotten to have had that big, huge run with The Rock. He wouldn't have been able to turn babyface again, be able to say that he held the WWF.
You don't necessarily know that, because maybe Bischoff and his company wouldn't be able to pay Hogan what Vince did.
But do you think that guys like Booker T, Scott Steiner, Ric Flair, that were WCW guys, Sting, do you think the people that still loved it would have continued with WCW, or would they have just been like, okay, I'm burnt out on the bullshit that I've gone through for at least 4 years or so, you know, ups and downs here with WCW. Do I want to continue with them, or do I want to try something else?
I think Booker T would have made it in WWE.
I think that.
All right,
they
I think I
would've
turned off all the
options.
stuff of that.
I think
They
that
would've.
they would have really
I think I got rid of all the stuff where that bot
definitely made the
passes
wrestling
people.
business more competitive. It would have been
So free timer, if you're still here and want to
I think
caps
certain
lock,
guys would have stayed.
you should be
certain
able to.
Guys were going to leave either way. Ric Flair was beaming from ear to ear the day WCW went out of business. So I think either way, Ric Flair was going to jump ship.
Woo!
Yes.
He was, but then he has also gone back and said that he was very sad whenever WCW closed. So,
Well, yeah, because of the
Well, yeah,
company's
that was a big
history.
chapter in his wrestling
Yeah.
career, but
right.
I mean, at the
The
end of the
lineage
day,
of
he
it.
was not happy.
Okay, so let's hit this second part here. Would TNA even exist?
No, absolutely not.
No way.
Absolutely not. There would have been no room for it, and you would be diluting the talent pool even further in the 2002-2003 era. And
Yeah, but I mean, look at all the talent who.
Isn't it interesting that we're talking about here that if WCW was still around, so and there was WCW and WWF, there would not have been TNA because there wasn't enough talent to fill it, and now there's WWE, you know, their own offshoot brand, NXT, AEW, Impact, and it's like there's still like too many wrestlers. Like some people aren't finding work because there's like not enough companies. That's a big fucking change from, you know, when this happened in 2001, 2002 to now.
Came to TNA, like when they were a startup, it was mostly WCW. W guys.
that WWE either
Well,
didn't
ROH is
take
still
on
breathing life
the
thanks to
Alliance
Tony
storyline
Khan.
or were rejected. So guys like Buff Bagwell, guys like Scott Hall, they all made their appearances in TNA in the early years.
And Luger
And Luke
and Sting.
and Macho Man.
He made one appearance.
Well, that's still counts. China, 2 appearances.
One
appearance.
I think China was there
more along
twice.
the lines of if Mike said WCW was not able to last, would TNA or something similar have come up as like an alternative, a number 2 brand for the United States, or would
I
we
think TNA
only have WWE?
I think TNA would have had trouble even getting a time slot on the Fox Sports Network if WCW was still in business.
Not necessarily, because if the ratings were hot like back in the Monday Night Wars, I think TNA would have had an easier time finding a spot on TV.
Because people
as long as ratings were
wanted
good,
to watch wrestling.
companies would be going after them.
Okay, that's a good
I think they would have still
I
found
think
a
that's
home on
right,
Spike
Future
TV.
Shocker. I think she appeared once and then had one match.
Right on.
Or no, I thought
All right,
that's
then,
who you were
well,
talking about.
If you guys are good, then I'm good. Are you good?
Oh,
I'm
of course.
Great.
I'm
China
awesome.
though.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that does it for this late debate. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you want us to talk about something that you've got on your mind, leave it in the comments below. And now we'll do some plugs. Mike, what do you got, buddy?
Follow me on the YouTube at FTW the Twitter at Ultimo Nagel. I think.
And Mike's channel is
And,
the same. Like I think he's
yeah,
got like one
Instagram at
one video
XMB
or
Nagel.
something.
And yeah,
What you should do
Click
is
it.
youtube.com/ebarsays. Also, follow me on Twitter at ebarsays. And
You can still do
that's
that.
it. We'll see you guys next week.
That's a good song, Trogdor. All right.
Only one guy will remain. My money's on.
All right. What's the next one here? Wait. Oop. Okay, Montreal Screwjob. What if Brett laid down for HBK? That's interesting. Petey Williams, yeah. Yeah, Destroyer is still one of the coolest fucking moves you can watch somebody pull off. Real talk.
What's up, guys? It's me, it's that ERIC. I am the People's co-host, Eric Barnes, and this is The Late Debate. I am, as always, being joined by the extreme icon, Mike Nagel.
Yes, you are. And it is a glorious day to be doing this.
It's really fucking glorious. And also by the Thunder Thief himself, Mr. Entertainment, Noah Donish.
I am the N to the O to the A to the H. What's up, everyone?
Is that why you were laughing? Were you trying to think of how to play off the ERIC thing?
I totally was. I was trying to steal your thunder.
Of course, that's what you do.
The Thunder Thief.
That's how I am. I'm just such.
Niz kid.
Now you're the people's co-host on my show. I guess that makes me the people's bitch. But you know something, for this show only, I'm gonna try to steal your thunder. I'm gonna do the best I can to do that, because you know I'm a dick like that. And,
Yes.
yeah. By the way, if you haven't done so, check out my YouTube channel. We're about to break some records. I need another 6,000 views.
Shut
this month
up.
to break some records.
Can you not wait till the end to do plugs?
You know, plugs are my specialty.
Especially the
I'm gonna
butt
plug it.
variety.
Yeah, when they're going up your ass. Anyway, so
I
sorry
hate
if
you
you're a new
guys.
viewer. Sorry if you're a new viewer.
Yeah, that's weird that it was like they said that they
No,
were
like,
gonna.
I just
Someone
think
said that they were gonna
the
cancel
Get
Dark,
to
or
the
it had been
topic
canceled.
already.
Dark Side of the Ring,
Anyway,
and they
so
were like, "Hey, what are some good
if
topics?"
you
And then
have
Vice is
something
like,
you
"Hey,
think you'd like to hear us
we're
talk
still very
about, leave
supportive
it
of this."
down in the comments below, and we pick one, at least one, every week. So this week is from Vernon Kazimos.
Vernon
He asked,
again.
what if Bret Hart agreed to the original finish to his match against Shawn Michaels? Obviously
always
talking
thrusting that
about
pelv.
Survivor Series '97. Would there be a DX, a Mr. McMahon character, Attitude Era, etc., without the Montreal Screwjob? So thanks, Vernon.
Great question. That's an awesome
That is a good question.
That is a good question.
Well, let's just take it part by part here. So
Take it part by
the
part.
first part was
step by
would
step,
there be
day by day.
DX, and DX was already DX leading up to that.
But would they have evolved into being like this, almost like the way the NWO blew up into a full-fledged, like it wasn't just a tag team, it became a stable with like half the roster. DX never got that big, obviously, but there were quite a few players.
Dude, that would have sucked
were
if DX
coming in and out
got
of
as
DX.
big as the NWO.
Would it have gotten that big without all this other shit going on?
Well, I mean, you got to think DX basically was in the same formation from its inception until WrestleMania 14, save for Rick Rude.
Mhm.
And
Rick Rude on Raw and
you know,
Nitro the
I
same
mean,
damn night.
Shawn Michaels was going to have to retire, so he was either going to go away or change anyway. And since Shawn Michaels was the biggest part of the Montreal screw job, I don't really see how that would affect the future of DX. What do you think, Mike?
I don't know. You know, I could see that the Mr. McMahon character may have taken a little bit longer to come through, because if Steve Austin was always the plan, you know, with the whole attitude and everything, I think we still would have seen the Mr. McMahon character, but I don't think it would have got a shot in the arm like it did with the whole screw job. So that,
True.
in my opinion, sped everything up.
Yeah. I mean, Vince was already kind of being a sort of a dick, you know what I mean? Or like somebody that everybody enjoyed seeing get hit with a stunner. But what really created...
And don't forget, Vince was being kind of portrayed as kind of a heel as far back as like '96. Remember the promo when, and granted he was kind of playing a heel also. Remember the heel Jim Ross promo where he was talking about how Mr. McMahon fired his ass over the
How
Bell's
many
Palsy?
times are you going to sneak that in when we're doing the
Let's talk about that.
Killing me, Mike. It's a valid fact though. That was back in what, '96 he did that promo?
They fired my ass.
Let me tell you how
Whoops,
warm-hearted
don't do
Mr.
that.
McMahon was.
No,
I'm
don't do that.
paraphrasing now. Mr. McMahon
Dude,
took
don't.
me into his office and he
Yeah,
fired my ass.
Yeah, probably shouldn't
All
do
right,
that.
then. That was such a terrific impression.
Are you done?
But anyway, Mr. McMahon was... Technically, the character Mr. McMahon was created whenever he spoke the famous words, Brett screwed Brett. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so...
I'll take it a step further back. I think the Mr. McMahon character was created the moment the spit hit Vince's face.
Well, I guess so, but this was, what, maybe a week. I don't think that the interview was the next night on Raw, I don't think.
Or was it?
Oh, no, it's hard to remember, even though I did watch that era recently. But obviously, it was instigated to go further from the Bret Hart thing.
I
That's
knew
whenever
you
he
would like
became
that-
a very focal point,
That
and not
impression,
just like
Alistair.
an interviewer type dude that got
Yes,
stunned once in a
sir.
while.
And I mean, the other thing was as well. I don't know if anybody's brought it up yet. The screw job kind of was a big part in WWE turning the tide against WCW.
True. Because I mean, that people are still talking about it today. You know, not just shows like us.
People
but,
are
I
still
mean,
wondering if Brett was in on it.
Do you think that he was?
I don't know. It
No,
just,
he wasn't. There's no fucking way he was in on it. There was too much stuff going on
He's too
for
angry
Brett to
about
be.
it.
I mean, the
He
whole
was too
thing is,
fucking
it would have
angry.
come out by now that it was a work because there were too many people.
you don't know that.
There were too many people that witnessed the altercation between him and Vince.
Well, you know, Vince is willing to put his body on the line if it means making money.
Good point.
But how would that have? Well, I mean, what? Well, I guess it would have ended up being good for both of them
Here's
because
the deal. Vince is racking his brain.
The thing was, though, if you watched Wrestling with Shadows, there's just no way, dude. Like, there's no way his wife wouldn't have known. His wife is backstage. Triple H is just like, I swear to God, we didn't know anything about it. She's like, oh, yeah, well, one day God is going to strike you down. Like, she was pissed off. I don't know. Oh, yeah, he did the finger thing for WCW. Saw that Scott Hall thought Brett knew was... Really? Hall thought that? That's interesting.
I'm trying to think, what is going to help us turn the tide against WCW? Well, if you look at Eric Bischoff's book and the title of it, Controversy Creates Cash, and it certainly did that. So what if Vince came up with this whole screw job idea?
Sure.
Brett gets to leave the company because they can't afford to pay him right now while business is bad. He goes to WCW, makes $3 million a year by not doing anything, and it's a win-win for everybody.
I think Brett's pride, though.
Because
What
Brett...
about the pride? His father was a promoter.
Yeah, but Brett is such... I hate to say it, but Bret Hart's an asshole. And
No, he isn't.
and the thing is he made a lot of money in wrestling.
Honestly, Future Shocker, I'm
Prior
not
to
exactly
WWE.
sure how all that
No, he
works.
did not.
He made a lot of money.
He did. Didn't you
But
watch?
it was nowhere close to it.
I mean,
what he was
probably. I
making.
probably
Scott
could.
Hall-
Yeah, but he
Scott
had
Hall-
money. He had money.
People
He
stream
wasn't
YouTube
okay.
shows and
Brett
stuff.
would
Sure,
rather
it's
win
on
matches
there.
than make money.
I'm sure he was doing all right considering he was a 5-time WWF champion.
Well,
Yeah, he was doing all right. He wasn't
But,
making.
I wasn't saying he was, but obviously not that WCW money.
Scott Hall was
I mean,
saying
Jim
that Bret
Cornette
Hart
is
cared more
fucking
about winning
batshit
than
crazy
making
at
money.
this point, dude.
Okay, so he was like making $400,000 a year as WWF champion. Come on, that's not world champion money.
That's true. I mean, that can't like compare to what like Hogan was probably making.
Hogan definitely. Was
But that was a
making
different
over
type
$1
of
million
boom
a
period
year.
when Hogan was
At
there.
Oh
least.
yeah, definitely.
And in those years, that was like a shit ton of money.
Yeah. I feel like Brett, he has such a big ego and he wants to always look, and he wanted to always look good, particularly in Canada. I just don't see him going along with the work.
If anything
What-
pissed him
what
off the
was
most,
Brett
it was
afraid of.
he was
You
in
know what I
Canada.
mean? Like of losing.
It was
the
because
belt.
Sean said he would put him over.
And plus, Vince would not have really wanted to go along with Brett going to the competition and disparaging the WWF to the extent he did. He disparaged the WWF on WCW programming. He disparaged the WWF to the press. There was so
Okay,
much
hey,
shit.
smart guy. What
Hey,
happens
smart
when
guy.
you talk so much about one certain product?
Well, yeah, he gets eyes on it, but it's all negative publicity.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Hmm.
Seriously.
Two words. Owen Hart.
Yeah, and Brett didn't really seriously go off on Vince as bad as anybody thought he would.
I kind of wonder like why.
That was weird. That was awkward silence.
Why did Vince decide to make like what if he had let Brett have
Spit
his
it out,
way
Ebar.
and Brett had held the belt one more day? I think Vince was just terrified that he was going to take it and show up on WCW
Yeah, you
programming
wanted
with
to
the
put it
title.
on Andra Blaze.
Yeah, and it'd be Medusa all over again. I mean, that obviously that's got to be terrifying. And you know, I mean, if you watch what's the documentary, the Wrestling with Shadows,
Mm-hmm.
like why is Brett not immediately on Nitro? Why is he sitting
Right.
at home watching Raw, watching a midget Bret Hart come down the entrance ramp with DX?
Because
You know what I'm
Eric
saying?
Bischoff was terrible with Bret Hart.
Well, yeah. Plus, what's his name showed up on Nitro the same night he was on a pre-tape Raw.
Rick Rude.
Right, Rick Rude. But it's like, I understand that, but why would they not immediately want to cash in, have Brett come out, tell what's up, his side of the story?
If he had been on there,
Was there a no compete period, like a no compete clause?
No, Bischoff waited to bring him in because they were launching Thunder and they wanted him to be the main guy on Thunder.
Gotcha. Just the same way they had Luger.
but if there had been a no compete clause, which there wasn't, you know, that is where I get the fear that Vince had of him going over and, you know, dropping the belt in the trash or whatever. But the fact that there wasn't, and Brett wasn't on TV until like December or something, like, what the fuck was WCW and Eric Bischoff thinking? You got to strike while the iron's hot, dude. Like, get him on there immediately.
Wasn't Luger on the first Nitro?
Yeah,
I
Luger.
know. Yeah, but then on
As
top
like a
of
big
it,
surprise.
they waited 6 months and brought Brett in to be the special enforcer with Hogan and Sting. They had him do all these ridiculous heel and face turns like within weeks of each other, and it was just utter stupidity. So,
Utter.
Yeah, they really, honestly, they dropped the ball very hard with Brett in WCW because just letting him cut promos and say what he actually felt, I feel like we could probably, at this point, go back and watch those. And it would have been akin to fucking CM Punk pipe bomb, but probably more aggressive.
Bret Hart's run in WCW was I'd say a 4 out of 10 at best.
Oh boy.
Well played,
you are
sir.
such a dick.
I
But
see
no,
what you did
I
there.
do have a valid question for you though, Eric.
That one
Do
was
we
pretty
think,
good for
and
Noah.
of course Brett seems like a proud kind of guy that would never come out and admit it, do we feel that Brett thinks that he should have probably stayed with the WWF?
It wasn't up to him.
He could have restructured his deal.
Vince offered him a deal, he accepted, and then Vince came back to him and said, well, we can't pay you that kind of money because...
Well, he could have restructured it for less if he really was loyal.
You'd have to be crazy.
Vince was
though.
basically pushing Brett out. You know what I mean? Because he didn't want to pay Brett what Brett thought that he deserved at that point.
And he
I
was
don't
saying that Brett didn't fit in with the whole Attitude Era either.
Yeah, I don't think that Vince would have had much for Bret Hart.
True.
And if Brett wasn't going to be on top, why would he want to be there?
Yeah,
You know,
what
it's
were they
easy-
going to do? Stick Brett into a love triangle with Sable or something?
Brett
Yeah.
never would have
No,
gone for anything
Something
like
that he would never have gone along
Sunny,
with.
though.
Heyo.
Those sunny days.
But yeah, so like last thing was like the Attitude Era. If Brett had gone along with getting or losing to Shawn at Survivor Series, how would the Attitude Era still have been the same? Would it have been rocketed into the stratosphere like it was?
Maybe
Or
not
would
as
things have been
fast.
different?
I think it would have happened though because they were already aiming for that edgier direction with the whole Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass. DX was already doing some edgy stuff while Brett was still around. I think it still
Yeah.
would have happened.
Stuffing the Canadian
Maybe
flag up
not
your
as
nose.
quickly as it did. Maybe it would have delayed it by 6 months to a year. But it's one of those things where we never will know the truth. Like, we'll never know what could have been.
That's
That's
why
true.
we have the great debate, or the late debate. I'm sorry.
It's true. How many licks in the center of a Tootsie Pop, you know?
Three.
I got a shirt that asked that same question the other day, so maybe we'll never know.
The world will never know.
The world will never know.
1, 2, 3.
So what do you
Three.
think, Mike? What about the Attitude Era?
What
do
an
you
old
have?
commercial.
Yes.
Okay. How would it have been
It
different?
would have been a slower build, though, and I don't think they would have got that immediate heat. And then, at that time, they were getting their asses kicked by WCW.
Mhm.
So,
It got them some ratings for sure quickly, which they needed.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, if it didn't happen then, chances are, the slow build, they may not have been able to come out of the ring with WCW whooping their ass.
True.
Right
It
on.
did kind of put it on the fast
Right
track.
on.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, you guys good?
I'm
All right.
fantastic.
All right. You all right. All right. So, thanks, Vernon. And like I said again, comment, questions. We'll choose one, and then we'll talk about it. And you'll feel cool because we chose your question. Maybe not. Anyway, so plugs. Mike, what do you got, buddy?
You can follow me on YouTube at FTWNage. You can follow me on the Twitter at Ultimo Nagel, and something called Instagram at XMVNagel, and not the Facebook, or you will be.
Social media,
Hollywood
check it
Awesome
out. There's lots
Bargains.
of great stuff going up.
Noah will be taking donations starting the 1st of next month when he
Yes.
does the record.
I'll do a PBS. Speak to you again. Just
That's true.
Old school Stranger Things. I better turn that off. That's probably copyright music. All right, let's see what we got next. Looks like this one's got Tony H. What if Undertaker had stayed a biker? Will it play? Wait, hold on. Actually, I think we're gonna skip this one. Yeah, these ones are only. Let's see who's on this one. Oh, this one has Cap. Alright, here we go. So this is what I'm talking about. I didn't know who was on each of these episodes. I'm not even sure how many there are. I think I made a playlist, but I made it way back when, and I might have missed some of them.
What's up, everybody? It's me. It's that ERIC. I'm the People's co-host, Eric Barnes.
Alistair, this is the man
the late debate.
who you will be
And
challenging
today I'm
in
being
Yu-Gi-Oh!
joined,
Whenever you
by
guys are about to
the
play.
one himself, Tony H. What's up, man?
Yeah, it's me. It's not DDP or ERIC. It's TUNY.
Why everyone trying to?
I don't know, that was
Everyone
so
trying to steal
lame.
my gimmick.
You did your best.
Everyone trying to
You
steal
did
my
your
gimmick.
best. All right.
I did.
And we've also got a surprise for everybody, making his crew debut, the captain himself, Angel Alvarez. What's up, dude?
5 years
What's
ago.
going on? What's going on, guys?
God, I've
Feel
been
good to
friends
be
with
here?
y'all for a long
I feel
time.
great.
Happy
Oh yeah.
in your heart?
In other places as well.
His wiener.
Oh my God,
Alright.
I love you.
All right. So, okay, this week we are actually going to the comments of the last video. And we're taking one from Keith Roberts, who it wasn't last week, it was like a couple weeks ago, but asked, better HBK career, 1988 to 98, pre-back surgery, to 2010, post-back surgery. We
See,
thought that was
Future
gonna be a
Shocker, I
pretty
told
good
you
topic,
we,
so-
we did a topic about this.
I guess you'd have to just go back to the beginning whenever he first got to the WWF and think
I gotta tell
about
him.
his time with the Rockers. I didn't see a lot of that stuff, you know. I mean, I've gone back and watched it, but as far as live, I missed a lot of it, so I don't know how much of it you guys had seen. Tony, Kev?
Yeah, so the thing is, I'll tell you guys right now that the Rockers run with Marty Jannetty was fun back in the day. When he first turned heel, I was a kid, so obviously I was like, boo, Shawn Michaels, like, the guy's a jerk.
Made you really mad.
Man, I was blood red mad as a little kid going, split up one of my favorite tag teams as a child. But the point of this is that if you are a fan of,
I think that's what
let's
most,
just say,
or at least I'm
old
pretty
school
sure that's what I
wrestling, you
said,
may
but
want to
I got to see way more of that.
say that the
Oh,
first
so-
run was better because he did do a lot of things back then that made I mean, he was just incredible back then. I think he was just, I know he's on a lot of drugs too, and I'm glad he cleaned his life up.
He was on
And he had a lot of solid matches. He had a really good one with Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10 and the ladder match.
Of course.
I actually watched the SummerSlam, the rematch of it, just the other day. So I'm trying to go through some old SummerSlams, and that was a very good match. I didn't realize how great that match was too.
And that
Well,
was
for
the
me-
one where they had 2 Intercontinental titles, if I recall. Is that right?
Yeah, that was who was the true champion or something like that. Yeah. And honestly, the second reign though for me is my favorite because coming back when he 2002 match against Triple H at SummerSlam, arguably one of the best SummerSlam matches of all time. Like
Oh yeah.
the whole
That
the
match
whole
was
angle,
fucking epic.
I've said it time and time again. The fact he did it like let's get ready to suck it, and then Triple H pedigrees him. The whole like Shawn Michaels like distraught, and you found out Triple H did it, and then they had that match. Started from there, and just
That was good storytelling.
oh man, there was a lot of memorable matches. You had a lot of new
Definitely
fresh
awesome.
faces, and let's face facts, WWE was way better during his second run than his first run because they had a lot of bad wrestlers back in his first reign.
Yeah, they did.
That's a great point.
Well, like Bastion
So
Booger.
which would you say, Cap? Would you say pre or post surgery?
I'd have to go with post surgery. For me personally, I felt like he had a lot more. His match quality wise were a lot better with the after the back surgery, I think. And there's nothing that he didn't really wrestle any worse from the surgery. It seemed like he only got better.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And also, it kind of seems like by the time he came back, you know, whenever he left,
I don't know, and I might say this later in the video because I can't remember these, but like you got to think about the quality of opponents that he had immediately after coming back. Because of course he first had that awesome match with Triple H, and then I think his next thing was the Survivor Series, the first Elimination Chamber, which was pretty fucking cool. Although he was wearing like some terrible tights. And then by WrestleMania he's facing Chris Jericho, and that arguably stole the show of WrestleMania that year. Like just upon his comeback, shit was pretty fucking cool.
or his first run, he was terrific. You know what I mean? Like another comment mentioned, you know, whenever he originally won the championship in that 60-minute Iron Man match with Bret Hart, one of the most classic WrestleMania matches ever.
That is a great match.
You know, and by the time he was on his way out because of his back, his match quality had gone down, but it's not because he lacked the talent, it's just because he was hurt so much.
Yeah.
But then, like, by the time that he came back, he was already sort of a legendary status, you know what I mean? He was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, everybody already knew him and loved him. And so that, whenever he returned, he could already basically have marquee matches with anybody, you know what I mean? And the fact that he's came back and wasn't really a part-timer, like, I mean, I don't think that he did house shows normally, but still, he was
He
there
didn't-
weekend.
he
and
didn't do a
week
house
out
show
as
that I
far as
saw.
being a superstar on Raw.
You know what's funny is there was a house show here in my... He might have done bigger house shows, I don't know, but I live in a medium-sized city, so when WWE came to town, he wasn't there, but Ric Flair replaced him in DX and did like the whole gimmick and everything with the shirt and all that, and you know, of course everyone would have loved to see Shawn, but the fact that Rick was there doing it was pretty entertaining too.
Which he really, I'm sure, didn't have to be. He's just obviously still loved it, and I don't know. I personally would have to say post-back surgery as well, but that's only because I didn't really start watching until like 1998, and so a lot of the stuff that I probably would have fallen in love with, I missed as far as being able to watch it live. And then, like Tony was saying, that match where he came back with Triple H, it was just perfect. Like, the emotion was there, the match quality was there, and it was terrific. And, you know, then go on to whenever he was on his way out the second time, you know, facing The Undertaker a couple times at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
And those matches were arguably some of the greatest WrestleMania matches as well. So,
Yeah.
Mr. WrestleMania.
you know, it's kind of hard to say, really. I mean, that's what makes it such an interesting thing to talk about. But I personally would also go post-back surgery. So I guess it's not much of a debate since we
I saw
all
Shawn
kind
during
of
his first
agree.
round. Really? Who did he fight? Alistair?
I will argue one thing.
The only time that I saw Shawn live was at WrestleMania 22 when he was facing Vince, which was a very entertaining match, but I wouldn't exactly say that it was like a technical masterpiece by any mind. But still good. But who did you see him face, Alistair?
Definitely will take the pre-back surgery DX over the post-back surgery DX.
Yeah, without question.
I'm just saying that, like, if you want to find a silver lining, like Shawn Michaels DX when he first came in, him and Triple H when they formed it, finally everybody, like, that was just like incredible stuff. And
If
you
we're
know, he was
talking
part of
about-
the first Hell in a Cell with Undertaker. That was a really good match. The Michaels Austin match, even though Michaels' back was screwed up severely, the fact that him and Austin could put on that solid of a match despite Michaels' injuries. Like I said, the guy had some pretty solid feuds even then, but
The thing that sucks about the Stone Cold Shawn match at WrestleMania was that it was a pretty good match still, like, but you could just see how fucking in pain Shawn was throughout the whole thing. Like, he wasn't just selling, he actually was fucking, like, seriously in back pain. Mankind, oh my god, Taker versus Vader, dude, you are lucky as hell. Those sound like awesome matches. Real talk.
Him and Bret Hart stuff. I mean, I think, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I think that I'm trying to come back to, he had more memorable storylines in a history of wrestling pre-back surgery, but I think he had better matches and better storytelling post-back surgery.
So better
I
storylines
think that that's
before.
true. And I couldn't agree more as far as DX goes, because whenever DX was originally
We're
created,
back to the
it
DX
was
talk.
anti-authority. It was just in-your-face lewdness.
Not PG.
Not PG. Yeah, exactly. Cap, just being
Torture.
basically as rude as you could be,
That's not PG.
making fun of everybody and not feeling bad about it. And it went from that to, you know, fast forward to 2006, whenever they reform and everybody's hungry for it. Everybody loved DX before, they want it back. And it comes back and it's like this poo-poo pee-pee.
I knew I was gonna fucking say poo poo pee pee.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna say poo poo pee pee.
2006
literally
was
was.
not bad.
I mean, they were
2006
dropping
was not bad.
turds on people. I mean, come on.
06 was not bad. To 2009 one, no. So
I mean, it
bad.
wasn't horrible, but it's just, it was so watered down, and it's like, everybody knew by that time that Triple H was in charge. So for them to act like they're anti-authority at that point, it's just like, you know, I don't.
Bruh.
It's just hard to buy. It's like, oh, they're going out there and making fun of the McMahons, but that's like Triple H's.
Dude, after he like did the whole born again thing, like
Yeah, that too. That
Right.
too, because you know, like you'd have Triple H out there getting a fake blowjob from Candice Michelle, and you know, Shawn Michaels don't want to be part of that, so he's like off screen. So it's really not. I mean, you know, Shawn Michaels was never the like top notch on the microphone. I wouldn't say, you know what I mean. He wasn't like the level of someone like The Rock or something like that, but he was extremely solid. But he was still incredibly over and able to give good promos even after, you know, he became hardcore Christian. But just in a different style that didn't mesh so well with the DX that, you know, was originally created. And honestly,
Yeah.
I wonder if they would have tried to push the boundaries more if he hadn't been born again at that point. Because when did they actually turn PG officially?
I think it was 09.
Hey, thanks for that lurk, dingus. Popping some ibuprofen.
Yeah, probably because watching TV in the dark.
Oh, does that hurt your eyes?
It is.
Oh god, oh fuck. Ah, love you. Anyway, all right, back to it.
I think it was 09, 2010 area that it really got to the PG part. I was gonna say like the post DX, the one where he came back. I think the best segment, hands down, was when they dressed as Vince and Shane and they did the gimmick in the ring.
Corny.
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it was corny.
Whole, I love cock bullshit. Was that whenever that started?
Well,
think
yeah,
so.
that was a segment, but then Triple H dressed as Vince and Shawn dressed as Shane and did like the little Shane O'Mac dance and fell on his ass and
Fell down.
or
I
Triple
definitely
H.
remember that.
Oh god, that was great.
Triple
That
H,
was
like,
that
talking
was
about his
shit.
weird shit.
Yeah, that was funny. I liked it.
It was definitely good, and you
I'm a
know
passionate guy. What can I say, future?
that's
Chuck?
something you don't get a lot of anymore. Like, you know, it didn't happen all the time, but like back in the day, like DX would dress up and come out as like the Nation of Domination. You had in WCW, you had the Wolfpack coming out as the Four Horsemen and stuff like that. And you know, you don't get people dressing up to make fun of people so much anymore. Not that it would even be good, probably at this point.
I did just see that thing again. It popped up on my YouTube, which I think they just uploaded it a few days ago, but it was whenever Randy Orton and Edge came out as DX, and Randy Orton is Shawn, and then Edge was trying to be Triple H. It was okay, but I don't think they even did the promo in it, just the entrance.
Point, but you know.
Of course.
And
not.
I also want to mention that in the last episode of the Late Debate, Tony and I have mentioned, hey, we could use more stables and groups. Just to be clear, we didn't mean Jinder Mahal and Great Khali becoming a team.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, Popcorn, if you're watching.
Oh, he better be.
Oh, he will. Now, question. So, what is your guys' opinion, since he did a lot of them, obviously? Take away Undertaker, unless it's not that, which I think everybody would say it, but what was his best WrestleMania match of all time, not Undertaker?
Shawn's best match, not Undertaker?
For me, it'd be between him and Kurt,
Great
or
one.
him and Jericho.
Oh, damn, another good one.
Yeah.
Well, I would easily have to say HBK Vince. That
Oh,
was
my
just
camera.
such a classic. No, I'm just joking. Although I did get to see that one live. But
Oh,
I mean, see, I would have totally forgot about the Jericho and the
why? It's so hard to set up.
match.
Look, I'm wearing
I
that
would
same New
probably
Day shirt.
say either whenever he first won the title with
It
that
won't
Iron
stay.
Man match, or probably Chris
We'll try
Jericho.
this-
It was
try this
just-
for a while.
The ending of that match was just so great. Whenever he just kicks him right in the nuts, that was rough, heartbreaking stuff. I mean, you know, not to make a pun, but it was heartbreaking. But yeah, which one did you say, Tony?
Shawn and Kurt, very good.
I actually would go with him versus Razor Ramon WrestleMania 10 ladder match.
Ooh, another good one.
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many good ones.
The reason why I bring this question up is because, and this is why I think the post-back surgery with Michaels is better, is it seems like we can all just like sit here and go, oh wow, his WrestleMania matches were like top notch. And not to say that pre-back surgery he had bad matches, it's just they were spotty at points, and like you're like, okay, there's some good ones, some bad ones, and
I guess
you
that's
know,
true.
I don't know. I think his run now is just really good, and to cap it off with Undertaker was really, really well done. And you know that's the other thing is that what was his best? I'm trying to think, like honestly, off the top of my head here, his best pre-back surgery feud. I mean, I know he had a couple to Undertaker, but like he didn't have a ton that I was like super engaged on, except for Bret Hart, probably the other one.
Yeah, I mean the Bret
Those are
Hart
good.
one was terrific. I really enjoyed the Stone Cold one. It was pretty fun, but it wasn't nearly as really
Mankind and The
emotional to
Undertaker,
me
when it reviewed
as
with them,
the
too,
Bret
was
Hart and HBK one. You know, I'm not really sure, honestly. You got any, Cap?
Pre-surgery, I'd have to go with Brett. That's the one that always sticks out the most to me. I can't really he had the small one, with Austin, but the one that always sticks out to me the most is always him and Brett. Like he just, I mean, they always talk about the Montreal Screwjob like a million times per year.
Yeah, it's hard not to have that one. Yeah, it's just stuck in your subconsciousness or consciousness, subconscious, whatever. Okay, well, let's close it out. I've got a question for you guys. If HBK could come back and have one more match with one person on the current roster, you like to see it with, and let's say he's at Ultimate HBK, still on top of his game.
I go with Styles.
Who?
AJ Styles.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
I mean, that's a great one. It's hard to disagree.
You believe that was after WrestleMania 12?
Well,
What,
okay,
the Mankind
so
stuff?
on current roster, if
That
HBK
sounds about right, because that was
AJ would
96
be
and
probably
12 was whenever he first won the
top tier.
title.
But you know, I'm gonna go with Jinder Mahal. I'm just kidding.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. No, but all honesty, like I wouldn't mind seeing Seth Rollins versus HBK in their
Ooh,
top
yeah.
tier shit.
That could be a great match and probably a really good feud as well. Match only for me, I'm gonna say Nakamura. I think that those two would be able to just tear the house down. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know how great a feud between those two would be, but just match alone, it would be.
Well, we do have one that's like our top 10 WrestleMania matches. There's one that's like our. It's escaping me. The Mount Rushmore of different companies and stuff like that. Like, we had quite a few episodes of this shit.
Be fire for sure.
But the list,
I think it could at least be as good.
you could basically come up with so many lists. I mean, look at Brian Zane, dude. That dude's done like the top 8 of God knows how many topics, and they're all pretty entertaining. So, and everyone would have their own opinion and shit. Yeah.
But is whenever Nakamura first debuted and had that unbelievable match with Sami Zayn,
Yeah.
like, you know, it could be at least, you know, I'd say around that quality at least. But yeah, so I guess it's
Those
pretty
both
much a
would have been
consensus
great.
that we
Future Shocker.
all prefer the post-back surgery HBK. Do you guys have any final thoughts you want to throw in on
We
it?
all went for
Yeah,
post.
get back surgery. Will remember your career better.
That's just science.
Fair enough.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Cap, you got anything?
And nothing, sir. All set.
All set. Okay. Well, and thanks again for that comment from who was it? I don't know, but if you,
Mr. Sir.
yeah, I said it at the beginning. But so if you have a topic you'd like to hear us talk about, please leave it down in the comments below, and we'll pick someone and talk about it next week, or you know, whenever we do the next one of these. So other than that, I want to thank you guys for being here with me. Do you have any plugs, Tony?
Mixer.com.
Doesn't
capital
exist
PH,
anymore.
the
No
number
more
one,
Mixer.
Capital NE. I stream once in a while now.
Hell
Check it
yeah.
out.
True. What about you, Cap?
I wasn't too happy about it. I missed it.
He'll be back.
You better be. You could follow me virtually almost on anything as Captain C4PTAIIN.
Top 5 Sean
Yeah.
WrestleMania matches. I mean, we mentioned a bunch
Captain's
in
been
this
doing-
particular video.
Captain's been doing some streams on Mixer as well of WWE 2K17, so they're very entertaining. So I would recommend following him on Mixer for live streams. Sorry, Tony. What were you?
Keep your suggestions to like 1 or 2, not 20. Unlike somebody in the chat we won't bring up, but 1 or 2 suggestions would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love the enthusiasm. We'll just boil it down to the top couple and post those, and we'll have plenty to choose from, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can subscribe to me on YouTube.
Mixer was cool.
Subscribe
Before it
if
was
you're watching
Mixer,
this video,
it was this thing called
youtube.com/Dbar
Beam.
says.
And I was on Beam whenever there was like,
says, and
it was in beta. There was like no, but one time I streamed into it, it was me and one other
video
person.
game live streams.
And then Microsoft bought it.
Dbar.
And it became Mixer.
All right, so that's
And
all I've got for you
then
this
now it's
week.
gone.
So for Tony H and for Captain,
Yo.
Well,
see you
Captain
next
should have
time.
thrown a salute or something.
Bye bye.
His name is perfect for that. What is Sean wearing right here? You're getting a break into something full. You just got tired of doing what you told us to do. Now that's an outro. Freemake.com. Couldn't get any better video editor than that. Okay. Let me see what else we got. What if Braun wanted No Mercy? See, that wasn't a very late debate. That was kind of a recent debate. Who's on this one? Man, a lot of these were just me and Tony. Oop. That's kind of surprising. Let's do one. Let's watch one in tribute to our old pal Scooty, who's no longer with us, but will always be representative of the crew. This one has Scooty and Noah. This is WCW versus ECW. Can't reunite if you can't get it scheduled, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Late Debate. I'm Ebar, and today we've got the crew with us. We're actually the debut of the one and only my pal and your pal, Scooty.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, you know, I'm here. I'm living.
It's getting by.
Yep.
Just getting by.
The heat's kind of killing her right here in Canada, which is kind of bad. But
oh, come on. It's nothing. That's not heat.
Yeah.
Miss that dude. Miss him
really.
so much.
Not compared to you guys.
Scooty was fucking awesome.
And we also have with us, making his triumphant return to the Late Debate after many millennia and eons have gone by, Mr. Entertainment Noah Donish.
I think I'm making my return to life, as a matter of fact. I've been so miserable, you know. I've just hated everything, and you know, I just want to come back now and take it out on you guys. And speaking of heat,
Future Shockers,
how much heat do you think this show?
Stone Cold was like 1,000 times more entertaining than Goldberg. He was a better promo. He could do matches that lasted longer than maximum 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, but back in those days, they probably would have made him lose. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. Two bald white men in black trunks and black boots. But yeah.
I was going to get. Do you think that I'm going to bring the heat? Who's going to bring the heat?
I feel like if anybody's bringing heat, it probably will be you.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that.
And how come? I just realized something. How come I've never referred to you as Scooty? I've always just called you Ryan.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, Alistair.
No idea. Everybody calls me Scooty.
Everyone calls you Scooty. Okay, well, I feel like I'm late to the party once again.
Very late.
But I gotta tell you, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to have this late debate. I would think I'd be on this show more often because I'm always late to the party. So, late debate. I took a really, really satisfying dump before coming on the air, so I'm ready to rock and roll.
For how long you said it took, it better have been satisfying.
Right?
No, it happens. I like to make sure I'm clean as a whistle.
Well, if you're taking between 5 to 10 minutes to wipe your ass, I feel like
I wipe my ass until I am so clean and neat. I wipe my ass until it is raw and bloody.
Is that clean and neat?
That doesn't sound clean to me.
Hey, as long as there's no shit on my ass, that's all I care about.
Hey, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Sting versus Undertaker.
By the way,
they could have done that like 10 years ago. Like, that didn't have to be
I
during
want you guys
Attitude
to break a tie here, everyone at home. What would you guys think if we did a show and called it the Shit Show, where we're all literally just streaming from our toilets?
Like, I'm so
you won't
over his
see
shit
our
right now.
balls or anything like that, but just streaming while we're taking a shit. Call it the Shit Show.
But how long? First of all, if you sit on the toilet too long, your legs go numb. So how long is this show going to be? It also doesn't take.
Well, that's why you get a poop stool.
A squatty potty?
A squatty potty, yes. Get a squatty potty. It's true.
Oh my!
You know. Actually, we can split the tie right now. Ryan, what do you think? Shit show?
I'll pass you guys.
All right. Well, let me tell you something.
He's the
I
one
am
that brought
ready
it up.
to drill into this topic today. So, what is the topic
That was
for the
terrible.
late debate?
All right. Well, today, and the title of the video might be a little misleading because it's kind of a long-winded topic name. But basically, we're going to go back and say if during like the Monday Night Wars and everything, if WWF had been the one to close, but ECW didn't close and WCW was still around, which one of those would have mostly prospered during that time period? And let's say that let's just throw out the window like Turner money or anything like that. I think we should set some rules. Like, let's put them on even ground.
A set of rules.
Say WCW has a TV deal, ECW has a TV deal. Maybe 1 to 2 shows a week, whatever. But if it was even ground from the get-go, WWF shuts down, all those superstars got to go somewhere. Who's going to come out the winner between ECW and WCW? What do you think? Okay.
Right.
Well, Ryan's had a little more time to think about it than Noah. So if you want to give us your opinions on it first.
Well, like I was mentioning before the show, when you really look at the cards between, or the rosters between all three shows, 90% of both WCW and ECW ended up in WWF at one point in time. But
you're right.
To me, like growing up, I started watching probably mid-90s, so I was a little bit late to, getting into what WCW and ECW were at the time.
Me too.
Now, that didn't stop me from going back and watching them on the ever so lovely WWE Network.
$9.99?
Actually,
$9.99 for that Canada.
yeah, it's $11.99 here in Canada, but we'll
what
not
a
go there.
rip-off! $11.99.
But no, like, if I had a choice to go back and watch one or the other, I would prefer ECW over WCW.
And why do you think that is?
I find, especially in the early 90s, I find there was more action on that show. Like, okay, sure, you had great guys in WCW at the time, but I didn't find the matches were all that great later on in the formation of WCW. The longer they were around...
Wait, Future Shocker, did you actually want James Mitchell and Paul Bearer to wrestle? Because I don't think Paul Bearer could have handled that. James Mitchell could have. Paul Bearer, not so much.
The less and less, it seemed like they were putting on good shows.
That's true. I mean, obviously, everyone knows they struck gold with the NWO, and that was great, but they were so focused on that they really weren't thinking about anything else besides the NWO, and that shit can only last for so long, and they milked it for all it was worth.
Shot themselves right in the foot, Ebar.
But I'd probably agree with you. I missed a lot of early ECW. Like, I didn't watch ECW TV, and
just managers.
Like
okay.
I remember.
Fair.
I got an ECW pay-per-view at some point. Damn, I wish I could remember which one it was, but I just remember it was only $19.99, and like WCW and WWF pay-per-views at the time were always $29.99. So I was just like, well, at least this one's a little bit cheaper. But all right, Noah, what do you think, man?
Out of the two, I was an ECW guy.
I wonder which pay-per-view I was talking about, because I remember that I bought that, and this is whenever I had to go to the cable company, get a little fucking silver thing that I had to screw into the back of my TV and then plug the cable into that thing so that the pay-per-view would come out, and then take that thing back, or else they charge you like a shitload of money. But I can't remember, probably late 99 ECW pay-per-view? I don't know. I wonder what it was. I need to look up the timeline, because I remember thinking it was fucking awesome.
I started watching ECW when it was in embarrassingly enough, I didn't have cable as a kid, so I caught ECW on a really obscure TV station that no longer exists in Sacramento. Just like a really weird,
the third brother of destruction,
like America One Network or something like that. And I got ECW Hardcore TV on that, and it was just the coolest fucking thing. But going back and reliving now the Monday Night Wars, the era of like the mid '90s WCW, ECW, and the WWF, if you look at WCW and what they did, they really, other than turning Hulk Hogan
I watched
heel,
most of them scrambled.
what was really innovative about WCW's product? It really wasn't. It was a collection of over-the-hill guys.
Cap, you missed your episode. You missed your crew debut. You missed your day crew. No, you did good. You didn't talk a lot, but when you did, it was important. But yeah, my first ever pay-per-view was King of the Ring 1999, where they had the briefcase and Stone Cold was like trying to climb the ladder to grab it, and they kept just moving up away from him. It's like, bro, they never explained it either, to this day. But yeah, Cap, we're watching some Scooty and some Booty. By Booty, I mean Noah Donish right now. Nah, he's good. I love Noah. The theater of your mind.
Holding down young talent, whereas ECW, the older guys went in there with the purposes of lifting up the young guys. Look at Terry Funk. Terry Funk went in there, lifted up the young talent.
Funk.
And whether or not you like that style of wrestling, I mean, I think it's comparing apples to celery. It's really
You did a couple more videos with me though, Cap. I think like the live crew show maybe. Or something?
WCW always kind of gravitated towards the old school
I did more
Southern style
Scooty.
of wrestling. ECW, if you're a wrestling purist, you may or may not like it. Now, in terms of which company I feel would have been successful in the long run, I think you have to go with the money. You have to go with WCW on this one. Why?
Instantly breaking my rule.
Simply put, backed by a billionaire. A billion-dollar
I made rules at the
corporation,
beginning.
AOL
You didn't pay
Time
attention.
Warner. When we look at ECW and we look at Paul Heyman, let's be real. The reason why ECW
Noah's the GOAT?
folded was because they got
Wait,
kicked off their
Noah's the GOAT? Oops! I mean, one of us is still here hanging out with you, Cap. But Noah's the GOAT. Okay. Okay, then. Okay. Whatever you say, then. Fine, bro. That's cool.
network
Whatever.
by Vince McMahon. It's very similar thing happened to WCW.
I'm just
Without
kidding.
TV rights, your company is worthless. That being said, even if they stayed on TV, they would have had to find a financial backer. And the problem is Paul Heyman.
Here's the three biggest mysteries, Future Shocker. Who raised the briefcase? Who blew up Vince? Which Kevin Sullivan? I don't know. And then what the fuck was in that lockbox? These are the three mysteries that science still can't solve.
And was such a bad businessman that he was even less trustworthy as a
Thanks,
business partner
Alistair.
than Dixie Carter
Thank
was.
you,
And
sir.
that says something right there. And I'm not trying to take away from Paul Heyman's accomplishments in the business as a booker and as a talent, second to none. He's amazing, but I don't think there's a soul on this planet that would disagree with me in saying Paul Heyman had no business running a professional wrestling promotion.
I do eat
from the
cans and
business side.
trash, so
And so
in that
I
way,
think
I am the
unless
GOAT.
they had some angel investor, I honestly think that the sole winner in all this was logically going.
GTV we actually know because we originally GTV was GDTV, then they just changed it to GTV, and that was supposed to be Goldust, but then whatever happened, and they didn't end up ever having a reveal, but that was originally going to be Goldust. Go ahead, Noah.
Going to be WCW.
Well, oops, because you absolutely went against my rules, which was that they both had a
Oops.
TV deal and
They
everything.
did
was
have a
even.
TV. I said they both had a TV deal.
No, what I'm saying is WWF dies, and they're both on the level. I was saying, what if ECW and WCW were both on an exact even playing field? Like
You
no one
can't
had more
put-
money.
You
no one
can't
had
you can't put them on an even playing field though, because their booker was so awful at running a business. I don't understand how you can put them on an even playing field like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying ignore that. ignore the.
So you just want to look at which one is the best promotion.
Here's more what I was thinking. Like, what if? Okay, so WWF shuts down, right?
Yeah.
All of those wrestlers.
Alistair, are you
have to
dodging
go
Cap, dude?
somewhere. And if it's even playing field, and
Are you dodging Cap?
You know, just fantasy booking here, and ECW and WCW both had the same amount of money. I feel like a lot of talent would go to ECW.
Is that something that happened to you, Cap?
Cap?
You saw
So
the-
bad by WCW in the first place.
You saw the Sunrise
that
there?
they went to WWF. You
Or
know, like
actually,
I
I'm
don't
not
feel
even
like
in
Chris
that
Jericho's
place anymore.
going back to WCW. Stone Cold certainly isn't. You know, Big Show at the time. Come on, man. Booker T.
So let me ask you this though: does ECW remain the same style of product as
They don't
they
have
did
to.
in the '90s?
That's for you to decide. This is where we're going with this.
Okay, so then I would have to agree with you
It's your
because
decision.
WCW 2000,
Well,
2001, you
I
had Vince
had no
Russo.
idea there was so much love for that window.
I don't think many people in the wrestling business liked Vince Russo, wanted to work with
The
him.
only window in this room now
And
is to this side of me where
that there's
you're never
no,
going to see
there's
it on
no
the
ifs,
screen.
ands, or buts about that. So from that regard, yes, I would say a lot of those guys would go back to ECW. But
He didn't
my
see it, Cap.
concern
Come on,
is
man.
ECW can't remain the same extreme championship wrestling that they were in the 90s. So maybe they have to scale it back a little bit and become more of a traditional wrestling promotion because
I
a
got
lot
the
of
good
these
cheers
guys
teams. I got
are getting older now, or guys that were once in ECW then went to WWF like Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're not going to go back to ECW and work that same style.
Right.
So
But they
you
wouldn't
gotta
have
go in a
to.
different direction. So I would say ECW, for them to survive and be on that playing field, they have to
ECW had a mixture of
diversify their
styles.
product a lot more than they did.
They
clean
weren't
up their
just the
image a
hardcore
little bit.
shit.
No more fans throwing chairs in the ring. No more lighting people on fire to the same degree as you always did. But yes, I was
To the same
always an ECW guy. So on the same playing field, my heart goes to ECW on this one.
Big Show in the early days could do some crazy
Did I
shit.
break your rules this time?
Giant.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, when you really think about it, Noah does have a point when he says that, you know, ECW would have been the one to go.
Noah has
go
a point?
over because of the fact
That's a
that,
first.
as we mentioned, you know, a little while ago, what did WCW have as far as storylines? I mean, the best thing that they could come up with was the NWO angle.
Yeah,
That was it.
Everything
That was all
seemed
they
like
had.
And I mean, now
everything. Yeah, it just seemed like it was always all over the place as far as WCW, and they might start with something and have some type of idea
hair in my
where
eye.
you're like, oh well, let's see where this goes, and then the next week they just don't talk about it, you never hear about it again,
Right.
and then it's over, and you're like, okay,
Whatever,
this
dude.
is absolutely inconsistent.
They had the fat chick
What's the
thriller
point?
Mike
Absolutely.
Awesome.
right.
E-bar.
But when you think about it, I mean, they had a WCW or ECW rather had, you know, they had the Dudleys numerous times get in awesome angles. You know, they had Dreamer versus Raven, which was by far the best feud I have ever seen in professional
Judy
wrestling,
Bagwell on a pole.
let
Come on,
alone
dude.
in ECW at the time. And
Good
then
one.
you had Shane Douglas, who revolutionized ECW to what it had been from that point on.
And Lord knows Shane Douglas wasn't going back to no WCW.
Yeah,
That's for
exactly,
sure.
right? No,
Oh,
and
man.
that's the point. Is, you know, he made WCW what it was by pretty much saying "fuck you" to the Eastern Championship Wrestling and changing the name over.
Speaking of that, okay, so that's obviously one of the most iconic moments. Even though in the speech afterwards, Shane Douglas kind of he flubs a line and says like obligatory or something like that. But anyway,
It's that.
but which not for just like popularity because obviously more eyes were on WCW. But which moment do you think had more impact when he threw down that Eastern Championship Wrestling belt and it transitioned into ECW, or on the WCW side of things, whenever Hogan blew everybody's mind?
So I have to like politely and respectfully correct you there.
Oh.
What made that?
Oh,
so
okay.
impactful
Okay, Noah.
was not the fact he threw down an Eastern Championship Wrestling belt. He didn't do that, and it would not have made as many headlines if he had done that.
Oh,
He
fine.
threw down the NWA World Heavyweight
Yeah.
Championship belt.
Okay.
Okay, yes. No, it is.
And that split the promotion from the NWA, and then they declared themselves
Cool, dude.
Extreme Championship Wrestling. That's why
Fine.
it was such a controversial event, because you took the NWA
Make a-
World
make a
Heavyweight
huge
Championship,
asshole out of me, why don't
supposedly
you?
the most prestigious belt in the history of the wrestling business,
Right.
and he disrespected it like that. It was for that time period when not every single fan on the planet was smartened up to the business. That was like one of those.
That's the highest quality is
And in a
480p.
way,
Sorry about that.
I mean, I guarantee you that was what.
What
Eric
franchise
Bischoff
angle did you not
looked
like,
at
Future Shocker?
as an example before he had Medusa throw the WWF Women's title in the trash.
Oh yeah, I mean, without a doubt, WCW and WWF both stole many ideas and concepts from ECW. I don't feel like there would have been an attitude era, or at least not in the same way that it was in WWF if it hadn't been for ECW. Certainly,
They brought the ECW guys in there in 96, 97 to teach them how to have attitude.
they did, and Jerry Lawler, by God, he hated it.
Oh, he did. And,
Yeah.
and that, all
That
those, go back,
pissed off
if you haven't
Jerry
seen
Lawler.
those promos with Lawler, go back and watch those. He is shooting.
Oh, yeah.
Every single second is a fucking shoot.
The whole
He
franchise
made no
thing,
bones
Douglas.
about it.
Which
At least guys like Jim Cornette,
the one
who is cut from
which
the same
angle are you talking about? He did a
cloth
lot of
as
angles.
Lawler, exact
The
same
one where he threw the
territory,
belt
same
down?
era, whatnot. Jim Cornette can at least recognize that there's positive stuff that came out of ECW. A lot of bullshit came
The one
out
we
of
were talking
ECW,
about?
but there were a lot of guys that could not get over anywhere else in the country that got over in ECW. Like New Jack, great example. Someone that could not get over any. Well, I'm not saying he's great, but I'm saying he got over in ECW. What other promotion could he get over? I mean, he did the Gangstas thing in Smoky Mountain. It was ECW. But look, go back and watch those promos. Lawler fucking could not find one redeeming quality of ECW. He hated it, and all
Yeah.
those promos are shoots. It's great.
And I had,
It's entertainment.
really good. It's probably on Peacock or the network or whatever you have, but it's the rise and fall of ECW. And it's like, most of the time back then, they would release DVDs that were like, the main part would be an hour long, but then they put a shitload of matches on it. But the rise and fall of ECW doc is like, I want to say almost 3 hours long, and it is really good. And Jerry Lawler's on there, and he's just like, I just didn't understand why we were bringing guys from this small promotion and putting them on our television. Like he was truly confused. I think he still is. And I can't say I totally blame him or totally disagree, but also it was cool as fuck from a fan standpoint. But from like a business and backstage standpoint, it's like, why are we giving these people a platform? You know what I mean? Like, we're not paying them, but secretly we kind of are. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't know that though.
At its finest.
Finest?
Alright, well, I wish I had an old roster pulled up, because it'd be interesting to think, or to wait. Ryan, do you have a roster from the old days?
I've got a top 50 of that my good buddy Nasty. For those of you guys that watch my streams and stuff, you'll hear a song by him on my shows every week. Not plugging that either. But I do have a list here, and I can send it to you on Facebook, Eric, pretty quick.
Sure.
The top
I just
50.
wanna
WWE
I just wanna go through
ECW
some
was
names
terrible
and
from
think
the
about
original
where they
episode.
would have ended up.
Well, okay, I'll just read a few here.
Yeah.
I'll do the top 10, I guess.
Okay.
That
Let's do
he
the top
won.
40.
So, Sid Vicious.
I think at that point he was probably more in it for the payday. So, well, now I'm breaking my own rules because I'm thinking about WCW having more money. Still, I think he probably
Still
would
a
have stayed
goosey
with
bar.
WCW. What
I
about
agree.
you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna third that, because Sid, around that time period, he was still. I mean, did
Mike
he,
Knox
like,
and the Zombie were my two
what year was
favorite
the
wrestlers,
ankle
Future
break?
Shocker.
I wanted to say 99, but I'm not 100%.
All right, so you
Yeah.
got that.
Maybe 2000.
I mean, that leg, no amount of operations made that leg ever the same again. So he's looking to work a very easy wrestling style. So I'm sending him to WCW.
By the way, and I know most people that are going to be watching this have probably seen it, but if you haven't seen that clip, go and watch it. Go watch Sid break his ankle. It is,
Ooh, you gotta have a strong stomach.
It is so gruesome. And then like Tony Schiavone's like, oh, I think he might have a problem with his leg.
Wait, hold on.
Like, yeah.
Hey, we're on the internet, dude. Let's go watch it right now. Let's watch Sid break his leg. So if you've got like a weak stomach, do not look at this because it is fucking gross. That shit. That's enough shit. That's enough of that shit. Oh god.
Yeah, no shit. It's hanging off sideways.
Oh
bro.
god.
I think he probably has a problem.
Yeah,
Fuck.
if you don't have a strong stomach, don't watch it. It was a compound fracture.
Oh, that is so brutal.
It was.
Like I thought he.
Why did I watch that?
Retired for a number of years after.
Why did I
that.
turn that on?
And then
So then he
WWE
doesn't
Oh
really
my
count
God,
as something
hate
because
it.
he wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Hate it.
No, but WWF at the time was stupid and brought him back
Oh,
for like 1 or 2 matches after that. After he had his prosthetic.
They didn't amputate his leg.
They gave him a fake leg, dude.
They cut his leg off?
Yes.
I had no idea.
If you watch,
For the record, no matter what we say right here, Scooty was wrong. They did not amputate Sid's leg. But yeah.
I think it was Raw 1000. You can tell that he has a fake leg.
I had no idea. I thought that they fixed his leg. I had no idea they amputated it. That the leg break was that bad.
Yep.
I am late to the party.
No,
Holy fucking shit.
You and
I'm
me both,
sorry.
and I don't know enough about it to know.
I love Scooty as much as anybody.
Well, I only know because
He's
of
wrong.
the guy that sent me the list here. We were talking about it one day.
The fuck?
Number 9, he has as Bobby Eaton.
Beautiful Bobby.
He would have just went home, bro.
Beautiful Bobby Eaton, wouldn't he have been like in his 50s by then?
I mean, I think
mean,
he was still in WCW, like he might be on like WCW Saturday Night type shit, but
Yeah.
I think he was past his prime.
Was he?
I don't know.
Wasn't he a member of like the original fucking Midnight Express?
Yes, I do believe so.
Yeah, no, he's
Why
going
was
home.
Bobby
He's
Eaton
not
in
going
the top
anywhere.
10 of
All
Not
right.
enough room.
Well, the next one, Barry Windham, would be the same situation.
Going home.
Barry Windham was kind of cool though.
Chris Benoit. And I know this is gonna put a lot of talk on the comment section.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
man.
hopefully. Let's get
I
that
gotta say
algorithm
ECW,
going.
man, because I mean he left WCW, pretty much walked out as the world champion. I mean, even if you wanted to go back, he would have to go back sniveling and crawling like a little bitch. So definitely ECW, and he had some good matches in ECW. So
He did.
He did, yeah. I totally agree with that. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not sure who we're
even
talking about on that
WCW,
question. Future
he had
Shocker.
amazing matches, but nothing compared to his ECW stuff. Nothing compared to it. So
well, that match with Brett though,
yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
to honor Owen or whatever.
Yeah. I know which one you mean. You
Oh,
were there that
Crispin,
night, weren't you?
that guy from.
No. I was at Raw is Owen the night
Oh, you
after
were.
he
Oh,
fell.
okay, yeah. That's
Like
what
the saddest night in wrestling, basically. And that was my
That's-
first ever
yeah.
live event.
Okay, right on.
So brutal.
So depressing.
Flying Brian Pillman.
I'm like so stoked to go to
Wait,
Raw.
he was
and
already
if
dead.
Owen just died, and I'm like
At that point?
trying not to
Yeah.
cry in the.
Yeah, he was.
He
You're
died
right.
in like '97, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay. Vader. 'Cause-
Hmm.
I mean, even now he's. I mean, not so much now that he has health problems, but
Well,
over
he
the
died.
past.
He died.
Yeah,
He's
but
dead.
but from like the time where he had the health problems from the past like 5 years, he was still going.
Well, to be honest with you, man,
Hold on, Future Shocker. I'm trying to think. Benoit, Jericho, Angle. I almost feel like maybe there was like an Intercontinental title, or that may have just been Benoit and Jericho. It seems like something that happened. Whether or not it did, I'd have to look it up. That's a good one though.
he had good times in WCW and kind of got the shaft whenever he went to WWF. So that might be one that would actually want to go back to WCW. They probably wouldn't use him worth a shit, but he'd probably at least give him a shot.
He was the biggest star in WCW and the NWA at one point. I don't see him going to ECW ever. He was a
we're talking about
WCW
Vader.
guy. Even more like when I think of Vader, I really don't even think about his time in the WWF. I think about his time. It's fucking Big Van Vader in WCW.
It's probably better not
That
to
is
think
what
about
he's
his time in
associated
WWF.
with, just like when you think of Ric Flair in his prime, you associate him with WCW. Same with Sting. Those are guys that are perpetually branded as WCW guys.
Yeah.
And I guess we also have to take into the assumption that TNA did not begin because the other two were there. In this,
it would
fantasy
never
book.
have come to be had those companies stayed in business.
I mean, unless Jarrett decided to make a fourth, but I highly doubt that.
Nah, why would he? He'd probably still be with WCW, getting his dick sucked.
Probably.
Why did I say that?
Diamond Dallas Page.
You think they keep Vince Russo?
Yeah.
He's staying.
Yep.
DDP, yeah. He would
definitely agree with that. And even today, he would still be one of the top players. I mean, with his DDP yoga and stuff that he's been doing,
He could probably still be a manager or something.
I think he could still put on one or two good matches. You know, not a full-time schedule.
I know whenever Vader first went to WWF, he definitely had some good matches and shit. Like I think he faced HBK, some other shit. But like whenever I started watching and like would rent tapes, it was kind of starting to decline. And I just remember he was teaming up with Bradshaw, who at the time was like Hawk Bradshaw or some fucking weird. Something weird. But anyway, he was teaming up with Bradshaw, JBL, and they lose the match, and they get knocked. They come out of the ring, and whoever comes over to interview him after it, and Vader's just like, "I'm just a piece of shit. I'm just a fat piece of shit." And then JR's like, "Well, we apologize for that language," but that was one of my first exposures to Vader because that's when I started watching, and then I would just rent tapes, so I didn't know about the whole history yet. Because I was like 14. And that still sticks in my mind just because I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Vader versus Bam Bam. I think Bam Bam had more ups. As far as like, I think Bam Bam was more agile. Vader, I don't know. That's a hard question, dude. They were both great.
Like,
sure.
Give him, kind of like the Raw 1000.
Is he like 60 now?
He's up there. He was old even like whenever wrestling was on,
because when he come in and did that whole angle with Taker, I mean, he was in his late 40s.
Well, I know when he started in the business, late when he was in his 30s. It
Yeah, he was like
kind of a
35.
Dave Batista similar situation where he started late.
DDP,
Yeah, and by the time he actually got popular to where he's like United States Championship, World Championship, he was probably mid 40s by then. So he's got to be. He might even be older than 60. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, and I'm not going to.
Cap.
But yeah,
Who
I
won
mean,
the match?
why would he leave WCW?
Who won the fucking duel?
You
I'm
know,
waiting
if
to
it
hear
never
all
shut
that.
down, why would he leave WCW? Whenever he's been a multiple-time world champion, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'd leave.
Okay, and Stinger.
WCW all day.
Yeah,
man. He ain't going to ECW.
No, definitely not.
Now, I know I'm shooting a little bit here off topic, but if the fact that he did switch over to ECW, name one person you think that he could have actually feuded with that would have
Captain Alistair,
kinda
who won the
elevated
match?
his time in that company.
That wasn't already someone he feuded with in WCW, so that's the tricky part. Like an ECW original.
Alistair, did you at least give Cap a chance? Bro.
Yeah.
My mind immediately shot to Rob Van Dam. I don't know
Yeah.
what you guys think about it.
Well, Rob
but-
Van Dam is one of those guys that could wrestle like an actual really, really good technical match that was an ECW original that didn't have to go to the hardcore nonsense. when you think about guys like the Sandman, immediately he's going to the Singapore Cane and
Right.
using the weapons and all the nonsense. If we're talking about a wrestling classic, and even a Tommy Dreamer, it's gonna like gravitate. Even though Tommy Dreamer is a good worker, it would instantly go to the weapons. And so, I'm thinking about Rob Van Dam also, and
I
it's
get
tough
you.
because a lot
I
of
got
those
your
other
answers. I'm sorry.
ECW
I'm probably
guys
on a delay.
were people that were
I'm
already
streaming
in
to YouTube and Twitch
WCW,
at the
so
same
I don't
time.
necessarily know that those count.
Ooh,
So,
a tiny fight, eh?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about someone
I wish I
who's
could have seen it.
almost strictly an ECW guy, I'm going
Well,
with
I mean,
fucking
You know,
RV.
this is what, put our mindset in 2000,
A couple of hits.
2001. Sting still had a lot of mileage left in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there could definitely be some of those high spots that Rob Van
Dude.
Dam was known for. Maybe not as crazy as if he was facing somebody like, Sabu or some shit.
I'll
But
tell you.
it
I
would
mean,
still
if you're
be
talking
awesome.
about a former ECW, WCW, WWF guy that would go from WWF back to ECW, I'd like to see a Stone Cold Steve Austin versus.
That could have been awesome. If Sting
Versus
went
Sting.
and Steve Austin also decided to.
Did
that
Sting
would
and
be
Steve
terrific
Austin never
because
fight?
both of them
in the old
basically
WCW
in their
days?
prime. Stone Cold didn't have too long left, but that would be a very high.
Because I mean,
smash.
Stone Cold wasn't going back to WCW. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, no fucking way. He still was holding way too much of a grudge during that time period.
But even like
Well, I mean, if
seeing
Bischoff
Stone
wasn't in
Cold
charge
as
anymore, he's a-
Stone
you know.
Cold going back to ECW would have been amazing. to
I'm not
see.
so sure about these takes.
True.
Absolutely.
It would have been awesome
Because
regardless.
it would have been more of a, hey, I could actually take this Stone Cold, I'm a badass gimmick and push it to its full potential
Cap.
limit.
Do we see
His
him
deck
and
is stronger,
Sandman
but is his
feuding
deck
with each
bigger
other
than
or
yours?
aligning with each other?
Question.
Possibly like aligning and like not a true alliance, like not a tag team, but just maybe having each other's backs until one of them doesn't. You know what I mean? And then there would be a feud, I think.
I'll tell you, there is one name we have not mentioned at all through all of this that was
Your mama.
a fixture of all three promotions.
Okay.
Mick Foley.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have
Good
not
one, Noah.
mentioned his name.
Good one,
Wow.
Noah.
he was already like commissioner or whatever at that point,
Yep.
I think, but still had plenty of matches left in him. So, I mean, I feel like he'd definitely go back to ECW too, because WCW kind of fucked him over
Yeah.
as well. So,
Yeah.
I
and
mean,
that-
let's
oh my
be
God.
honest.
Great
It
to
wasn't. I mean, his TNA run when he worked all those fucking amazing matches proved
You can't
he didn't
just say
retire
perhaps.
in 2000 because yeah, I'm sure he was hurting,
No,
but he didn't retire from some career-ending injury. His wife was fucking sick and tired of his kids seeing daddy get the shit kicked out of
So
him.
tired of
I mean,
seeing
that
it.
was ultimately the main reason why he took a step back until his kids got older and could understand that it was all pretend. So yeah, absolutely. I
Wait,
mean,
what?
I would see
Pretend- what?
Foley going back to
Wait, what?
ECW.
What did Noah mean by that when he said it was all pretend? Because he was talking about wrestling, and he was talking about Mick Foley, and then he said something about it being pretend. What is he talking about? That's confusing. That's a confusing thing to say, Noah. That something about pretend? That's weird.
that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
And he couldn't have been welcomed back with more open arms from that crowd, I guarantee it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he took the style and brought it with him to WWF. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, he had already done it in WCW as well, but
Overseas
yeah.
too. You
Imagine,
are. Come on.
imagine a fucking match between Foley and fucking Terry Funk in ECW around like 2004-ish. That would have been
Oh, God.
interesting.
That would have
would've
been crazy.
backbreaking, literally.
Literally.
Yeah, but Funk never knew when to quit anyway, so
Yeah, well, that was it.
Old Terry Fuck.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he still even works some dates, though. Don't
What?
quote me on that. I think
Yeah.
he does.
I'm pretty sure he still does, yeah.
That's fucking insane because Beyond the Mat came out in '99 and the fucking dog.
Since then, hasn't Terry Funk like got dementia or something? He's kind of on the downhill slide. I know. I saw Mick Foley post a picture with him like within the last couple of weeks. You know, which is good, but I could have sworn that something's particularly bad, like dementia or something happened to him. Could be wrong. Could be talking out of my ass, eh?
Doctor told him he had like no padding left in his knees or whatever. Like,
And mind you, hey
no
Eric,
cartilage.
Eric, that footage that you're talking about that came out in 99 was filmed in like 97, 98-ish.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. But Jesus Christ, dude, how the fuck? And he's like,
Yeah.
and I remember because he's like, well, will I still be able to get around comfortably? And the doctor's like, you shouldn't be
No.
able to get around comfortably now, you know. And it's just like,
Yeah,
that
and he
was
said
Classic. Classic be on the
watching him
mat.
climb out of the bed in his tidy whities. He honestly looked like he was in his 70s in that fucking video when he was in his early 50s at the time. So he's got to be in his 70s now.
That's his working day.
Hydrate.
He's just
Crazy.
asking the diet.
No, the
ring,
most I
basically.
will say the most disturbing part of Beyond the Mat was Terry Funk's buddy,
Is there something on
who
YouTube
was
that says
jumping up
hydrate?
and down
I
on the
knew
fucking
exactly what you were
trampoline in nothing but his underwear with
All right,
his
I'll hydrate.
fucking
Here's some
nuts bouncing
water.
up and down.
because he's always got to be ready. You know, he hasn't been booked in years, but he's always wants to be in ring shape. So, got to get out there with your 2-pound weights and jump on the trampoline.
But for the good thing, he
Tidy
still
whities.
definitely knew who Mick was, and
You know,
just
if you wore
recently they
workout
had a good
clothes,
time. So
you wouldn't get as ripped. And boy was he.
It's true.
All right. Well, I think we can probably wrap it up. Any final thoughts about this
Actually,
topic?
I had
boys?
one more thing.
Okay, let's hear it, buddy.
It kind of goes
Keep
off
going,
a little bit,
Skips.
but new roster that they have today in WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. Who could you see if they hadn't stayed a company? Who could you see from them today? Where would you have seen some of them? And I'll give a few examples, like Kevin Owens.
ECW.
Definitely seems like more of an ECW guy. Just
Okay.
off the top of my head.
Noah?
I'll agree with that. Seems like more of an ECW guy.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know, but he did just renew a contract with WWE, so he could be a
throwing
WCW
off the top of my
title
head
guy.
here, Neville, who just got released.
I could see him as a WCW cruiserweight.
Yeah, if they kept a strong cruiserweight division, I could definitely see that in him in WCW.
Fair enough. The bruiserweight, Pete Dunne.
Who's Pete Dunne? Does
Throw
he
you
mean
guys,
Butch?
throw you guys a tough one.
Does he mean that guy Butch?
Honestly, I could see him in both. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably say WCW. With him being from the UK, it just kind of, for some reason in my brain, fits into WCW more. That probably doesn't make sense, but that's just how my mind is working at the moment.
No, I can. kinda
Well,
see
they have more like
agree
overseas
with that.
talents, international
Right,
talent in
and I'll throw a couple
WCW,
divas in there as well.
especially during
Sasha
when
Banks.
WCW was around.
WCW.
Hmm.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I see her as a WCW girl.
But they didn't really have that type
Well,
of.
the thing is, like, neither, because it was during that time period, so you didn't really see that many competitive wrestling matches between women in ECW or WCW during that time. Like, they had a lot of girls around.
Yeah, but most of them were either Nitro girls or
Exactly.
Or just sluts
Or
that.
just sluts that were on TV.
They were Nitro girls
Former
or they were
strippers
sluts.
that Ric Flair banged and offered them a job.
Was that Gorgeous
These Nitro
George?
girls.
And this
Oh,
one's
Nitro.
not even quite 4 years old. So.
But I'll say ECW just to be a contrarian.
And one more, Becky Lynch.
Something about it feels like WCW to me. I can't put my
even still now, I was thinking
I
WCW.
think it's that accent again. I think it's where she's from.
It probably could be.
Why is that in my brain? Like I just want people with accents.
Because
I put Neville over there
when you
too.
think of WCW, you think pompous, like more straight and narrow wrestling.
Well, no, but to be fair, man, WCW really mixed it up. Like they didn't push a lot of their lower card talent, but they had a lot of international talent there, like all the time, man. I was watching some old Thunders the other day, and it's just like, never heard of this dude, but he's there, I guess.
When it and like Noah just said, when it come down to it, WCW had a lot of the guys from like New Japan, and they kind of pulled the card that TNA did at first when they first, did the formation, and they had a lot of overseas guys come over and fight. So that's probably why you have that embedded in your head so bad.
Let me ask you guys one. Braun Strowman.
EC
Yes.
dub. EC dub.
Oh, shit.
EC dub.
See, that's a tough one. Because, I mean,
Too bad Braun Strowman's gone crazy.
WCW at least might have had enough sense to make him champion by now.
yeah. But seeing Braun Strowman versus Paul White in his prime would have been fantastic.
I think at this point in time, I was kind of like pretty high on Braun Strowman, and I was like, because they weren't doing shit with him hardly ever. You know what I mean? Like, he was in like his prime era. He was fit by now and everything, and it's just like they kept doing dumb shit. But now that he's gone, and like what he was at, the money he was asking for was so outrageous that Tony Khan was just like, no thanks. And now they're starting that control your narrative with. You know, I could look back on this in a couple years and be wrong, but it sounds horrible. It sounds terrible. But, I guess that's part of the reason I'm going back and watching these, just to see, like, how much different, not only that what I think about what other people said, but what I think about what I said, so. Marty Jannetty's time in WCW. I've seen a match or two of Marty Jannetty in WCW, but... Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. Talk about people that just fucking went absolutely crazy. That dude is off his goddamn rocker.
That's true.
You know who I would have liked to seen Braun Strowman go up against?
Who's that?
Fucking Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yes.
That would have been great.
Post that video in my Discord, Cap. If you are within the sound of my voice, post that video in Discord. I'd like to see that.
That would have been. I agree with that. 100%.
Because Bam Bam can move around so well for being that size. Oh my god, that could have been a terrific match.
There's a lot of them now that can
True.
do that. I mean, look at guys like Lars Sullivan and even Kevin Owens. I mean, he's a little.
Lars Sullivan. Oops. Let's not look at guys like Lars Sullivan. What a prick, dude. I'm sorry. I'm. Once I found out about that shit that, like, he used to post, and then the type of video he was in, like, you couldn't be more of a hypocrite. And also, I'm pretty sure he was still creepy, even way more recent than that on, like, Instagram and shit. So, oops. But Scooty didn't know that at the time, so I do not fault him.
A little bit on the bigger side, but you'd swear he was a cruiserweight some days.
Yeah. And he's slimmer now than he used to be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Vince told me he was going to fucking fire him if he didn't fucking hit the gym.
Well, he quit on his own this past Monday, so.
Exactly.
All right. I'm glad you threw that in, Ryan. That was cool.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right. So, any final thoughts on this, guys?
I think we beat it to death.
We just beat the piece out of it.
We did.
WWF beat WCW. Savage. Okay,
So
sorry.
stupid.
All right. So, what do you got to plug, Ryan?
Well, I usually use just my Twitter mostly. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, 902RealDealX. And I use my Twitch a lot too as well to stream. I've been streaming Battlefield 1 lately, so go to twitch.tv/RealDealXstream.
And I'll leave that address in the description below. Noah, what do you got, Bob?
YouTube.com/NoahMania. Go check it out. Subscribe. I am back. I'm not going to promise any specific shows. Just stay tuned. I will promote it once it's in the can. So, we did a show yesterday live. I will do another live show this week, and there may be some other stuff going up. So
there's something I gotta add to the playlist.
Good stuff coming.
Good stuff coming from Noah Mania. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Let us know down in the comments what you thought about what we were talking about, what you thought about what superstars would go where, or, just let us know what you thought. Also, if you have any ideas for future late debates, because I plan on doing these a little bit more frequently than we have been here lately, leave those down in the comments as well.
Cap, you don't even need to add the qualifier of a trash person. He was just trash person. Lars was and is trash person.
And also, I do Jackbox live streams every week, so you guys should come and hang out. and play because it's
They
free.
get really sexual.
They tend to get very sexual.
Yep.
But that's why people show up. All right. Anyways, for Scooty,
Yes, sir.
for Mr. Entertainment, Noah
That's
Donner.
me. That's me.
Oopsie. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Why did I go straight NWO music on them? Well, I think I found some of the earlier ones. I think this next one is just me and Noah.
I see. I am the People's co-host Eric Barnes, and this is the Late Debate. And today,
Hold on, wait. I can't skip the intro, dude. I can't skip the intro after I paid somebody $5 to make that shit. Basically, the dude would do like all the same shit, and then like just at the end right here, just put whatever you wanted to say.
What's up, guys? It's me. It's that ERIC. I am the People's co-host Eric Barnes,
Man,
and
that
this is the
DC
Late
hat,
Debate.
dude. I wish I
And
still had
today,
that
I'm
shit.
being joined by Mr. Entertainment himself, Noah Donish.
That's me.
Oh, this is Evolution
God.
Cena or
I don't know
Orton.
about
I don't know
all
what
that.
exactly that means.
I love being the co-host. That's like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders for a change.
For life.
Whatever. Like you. Anyway, yeah. So this week, hold up. Let me see. Somebody submitted a topic, and that's basically the thing. Like, if you can think of something you'd like to hear us discuss, put it down in the comments below, and we will. There's a chance that we'll choose.
I like it
because
every
that's how
time
we
I hear
do
it,
this
Alistair.
week, which is-
Piece of trash person.
Somebody said,
Hey, trash.
Dylan Rich wrote in, what if John Cena was in Evolution instead of Randy Orton?
Ooh.
No, he actually says Randy Orton or Batista. So I guess we could look at it from like two different angles there.
Yeah.
Two.
Okay,
Come
so
on, Ebar.
first of all, let's just take a quick
Get the
look.
shit
back.
together,
John Cena,
Ebar.
This is around, 2002. Whenever he came in, yeah, he was very intense, but he really didn't have a character. There was
Ruthless
nothing really going on.
aggression.
Yeah, Ruthless Aggression was his entire character. And to be fair, whenever Randy Orton came in, he really didn't have much character going on either.
What are you talking about? He held his arms like this over his
Batista
head.
had a character when he started. He was a deacon for Devon Dudley.
Deacon Batista. He should have just stuck with that. He'd be a success right now.
That obviously didn't work out. But anyway, so let's
I guess
say
that was the best that Jim Cornette could do for him in OVW. Just put a
the Deacon Batista.
put a chain with a lockbox around his neck and call him Deacon Batista.
And people are actually
Lockbox.
throwing money into that thing.
I know, right? That's so sad.
I wonder if they use that as like beer money after the show or what.
I don't know.
But anyway, so let's say that John Cena had been picked instead of Randy Orton. So Evolution, let's say Evolution was Triple H, Ric Flair, John Cena, and Batista. Would John Cena have become a huge star like he has today? Because to be fair, Randy
That's a
Orton did.
weird fucking thought,
maybe not
dude.
Cena levels, but do you think things would have gone the same way?
I think Cena, even on his best day as
Triple L, everybody. Can I help you?
Hi.
Hi. What's up? What are you doing here? Ah.
How you doing, honey?
Streaming.
How are you doing? Not what.
Oh, I'm doing so good.
doing.
Love you. Look how happy Noah was with that interaction.
a heel was a tweener, like, because he had the whole freestyle rap gimmick that even if you hated him, you still loved him. You still thought it was a great gimmick. And
yeah, you still thought at least that it was funny and entertaining.
And he did it well. And is that something that can translate itself to standing
It's
out
too late,
in
guys.
a
She's gone.
stable environment? I don't really know, because you have Triple H.
I'll tell her
who
later that you guys said hi,
was
though.
at the proverbial peak of his shovel era at the time.
Oh, he was peaking his shovel. He
And
was peaking
we're
his
talking
shovel.
about a guy that, on camera and off camera, was only interested in his own push, and the other members of Evolution, being Ric Flair and Randy Orton and Batista, were just really there to elevate Triple H and make him stand out and look good. So my concern is
Fair.
with Cena is how could he stand out on his own and make himself look good? So Orton became the youngest WWE champion of all time.
I mean,
And
they
that
figured
created-
it out.
World
They
Heavyweight
figured
Champion,
it out.
Excuse me, and that created a big feud between him and Triple H and whatnot.
I think truly the point of Evolution was, yes, of course, during the time as a group to make sure Triple H was champion and all that, but obviously it was also to it was never going to be a forever group. You know, this isn't the Four Horsemen as badly as they wanted it to be. Was to make sure that that Batista and Randy Orton were stars once it was over. If they had like a rapper in there with them, that I don't know, that doesn't seem like it would fit.
Right.
And that elevated him to a certain degree, but he didn't really still stand out as the guy, if that makes any sense. He didn't have that mainstream, like even when he became World Heavyweight Champion, you couldn't go out on the streets and say, hey, who's Randy Orton, to the casual viewer flipping through the
Who's
channels.
Randy Orton?
John Cena's always been that guy that could stand out. Oh, John Cena's the guy that freestyles, and then he had and I know this.
I mean,
is
you're still not gonna
coincidental, so
walk
it's
down the
like
road and be like, hey,
evolution
who's
to him.
Randy
He was
Orton
able
and-
to evolve
or,
and
hey,
go
who's
beyond
John
that and be,
Cena?
oh,
At that
the
time.
guy that appeared on so-and-so TV show, the guy that appeared at all these Make-A-Wish events. He's
Right, but you also have to think, if John Cena had been inserted into Evolution, that rap gimmick wouldn't have been a thing, I don't think. He would have just worn a suit like the rest of them, and it would have been a neutered version of John Cena's. I think it would have been a much lesser version of John Cena.
exactly.
honestly.
So the
Brian, just so you're not confused, I'm live. I'm watching old videos, so Noah Mania is not here. He can't reply and say hello to you. I'm sorry. But I'm glad you're here and good to see you, buddy. What's up, Brian?
point, I don't think he would have broken out on his own. Maybe it would have happened, but it would have certainly retarded his development.
I'm wondering, like, if
Stupid. Why did I laugh at that?
If Randy Orton, he had a long run as Intercontinental Champion. He was winning. That's whenever he really started gaining a following from the fans, because who can boo a guy that's a winner, and so then he goes on, and how did he earn that championship match with Benoit at SummerSlam?
Didn't he
What did-
beat Triple H like in a number one contenders match that he was supposed to take the fall on?
I don't think so.
That seems like Triple H would have freaked out
No,
immediately.
Triple H did freak out when he won the title.
When he
remember?
won, but
No. He didn't freak out right when Orton won the title.
It
He
was the
freaked
next
out
night.
the night after on
when
Raw.
he didn't just lay down for him.
no.
No, Randy,
I forget. This is
I'll tell you. Randy Orton won the title from Chris Benoit. The next night on Raw, he faces Chris Benoit again. That's when Evolution comes out, and they're all like, "Yeah, cool, dude."
Oh yeah, and then Triple H did the thumbs down.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, that's where that came.
Brian, I'm watching old videos since it's been like almost 6 years since these came out. I figured I'd go back and take a look and see if I still agree with what we were saying or what even I was saying. So, yeah. You can pretend that Noah's here, but he's not.
Electric chair on him. Yeah.
So that's what makes me wonder, like, if John Cena could have even gotten popular enough to that point as a heel that didn't have that rapping gimmick. I don't know if John Cena is talented in that way because I've never seen it.
No, they
Cena as like a suit guy.
pizzazz around John Cena to get him over. So the whole rap thing evolved into him having the spinner belt, the United States Championship spinner belt, and
Right.
and that's all stuff. Triple H. We're talking about a guy that had the undisputed title redesigned because he thought it didn't look good around his waist. No other
True.
wrestler besides maybe Hogan would have the balls to make Vince do that. Would Triple H as part of Evolution, allow
Um,
Cena to have a spinner championship?
I was
that
live
possibly
Saturday, Brian.
than Triple H.
If you missed it, hopefully we'll do it again on this Saturday.
No, there's no way. So
For
the point
Jackbox.
is, politics would have held Cena back.
Okay, and on the flip side of it, if Cena was the one that was in Evolution, what happens to Randy Orton? Because he didn't have some crazy rap gimmick to get him over. So if he was just Randy Orton alone, would he have been able to achieve the success that he did thanks to Evolution?
Good question, Ebar. Good
No,
question.
I think Evolution really helped out. So it's one of those things where I feel Evolution helped Randy Orton because Randy Orton needed to be surrounded by big names to become a
Right.
big name himself. Cena, on the other hand, I think the opposite effect would have been true. So I think Cena really worked out well with his gimmick, because that's what it was a gimmick by himself, and leaving the F alone by himself to just do that.
Well, B squared, dude. Don't forget B squared.
Oh yeah, I
Bull
agree.
Buchanan.
Don't
Bull
forget
Buchanan.
Bull Buchanan, yeah.
Such an
God.
integral part of the John Cena history.
But the fact is, if you watch like the Ruthless Aggression or whatever special, or the there's something on the network. I don't know. I watched it, and John Cena was after his debut and that whole thing with like Kurt. He was kind of going down the tubes. He was like a velocity guy until there was like a Halloween episode of SmackDown where he's dressed up as Vanilla Ice and does that. If it wasn't for number one Vanilla Ice. Yeah. No, actually, John Cena owes his entire career to Vanilla Ice. And I think Vanilla Ice should get some of that money, dude. I'm going to tweet him and see what he says.
Exactly.
Weird.
Exactly.
It was a modern day Four Horsemen Future Shocker, I agree with that, but without the loyalty. Because Triple H was not loyal to any of them. As you saw, once Randy won the title, the loyalty went away. Once Batista won that Royal Rumble, the loyalty went away. Like, Triple H was just about Triple H. And I think that fit the Triple H's story at the time. But yeah. I think I just described it.
No, but I don't know, man. I don't know if Randy Orton.
I feel like so. Let me throw a different scenario by you. What if Cena brought his prototype gimmick to Evolution? That would be kind of interesting, possibly.
No, I've only seen a couple of matches as the prototype. Was he just supposed to be like the perfect man? That's basically what he was known for.
Yeah.
He wasn't a robot. Are we sure he wasn't a robot as the prototype?
Himself was the perfect man.
Right. Yeah. If Triple H has somebody else around him saying that they were perfect, especially in
Genetically
comparison,
perfect, yeah.
or genetically superior
Yeah,
to
that's exactly what the
Triple
perfect-
H, he probably would not have. He wouldn't have been down with that.
Yeah.
To
And if you're not down with
phrase.
that, you got two words for him.
So, when it comes down to it, honestly, Evolution was like the perfect storm. They picked the right people to be in it.
Which gimmick are you
Randy
talking about,
Orton
Future
worked
Shocker?
perfectly in it, especially Batista was hurt for... No, Orton was hurt, but so was Batista. There was a time whenever it was just Triple H,
To be
Orton,
fair, Batista could
and
get
Flair.
hurt if you looked at him funny.
That's true.
Dr.
But it worked out
Thugonomics
for all of them. It
was
worked out
great.
for Randy Orton. I think that maybe they could have done a much slower burn to Evolution turning on him once he won the title, rather than immediately doing it and then the next month having Triple H take the title away from him. But the
Great
they did
analysis,
figure it out
Ebar.
with Batista, because that was a slow burn leading up until WrestleMania. We knew that Batista
This is
knew that
basic
Triple H was a
Thugonomics.
dick, but we didn't know when Batista was going to act on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's really hard to say, but I feel like of the two choices, talking about replacing Orton or Batista, no, John Cena would not have worked out well in that.
No.
He just he wouldn't have become as popular, or the others wouldn't have become as popular if they were on their own. I think for these particular wrestlers, this worked out perfectly.
Exactly.
Ryan, don't feel bad. You're not the first person that happens to, and I'm sure you won't be the last. I'm sorry to say. Most of the time, I don't like during my solo streams or whatever speaking on it or whatever. But he's a busy guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not making excuses for him of why he doesn't reply or anything like that. Like, I don't know exactly. All I know is that he's busy. He's got a lady. He's got a kid. You know, I don't know. Cena knew he was going to be cut from WWE, sitting in the back of WWE bus on tour. He's rapping, and Ray and higher up hurting gave him the get. Really? Is that why they put him in the Vanilla Ice thing? Because there's a whole series on ruthless aggression, right? I'm not imagining that on the Peacock Network WWE thing.com.
Yeah, so that's that topic. You good on that, Noah?
I'm good.
Right
This is
on.
I'm good.
All right.
A great late debate.
So that was the late debate. We were late to it since Evolution happened in, 2002 or something, so...
Yeah, guys, that's why we called it the late debate. Or that's why I called it. That was my entire thing, was like, let's talk about topics from years ago. Not something that just... Because we talked about the current shit all the time on The Scoop. Or like Raw is E-Bar. So I was like, what if we talked about stuff that happened back in the day? That was my whole idea for the late debate. Eminem? I don't know if I've ever heard about that.
Anyways, guys, that's it.
Hey, thanks,
Noah,
Brian. All the hearts,
plug
dude.
what you got, brother.
YouTube.com.
We'll do one more,
If you haven't seen it already,
and
check
I
out
think
the
that's almost it, except for the ones that are just me and Tony, which I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure they're entertaining, but
You definitely.
if you go to my channel, if you go to youtube.com/ebarsays, there's a entire playlist called The Late Debate. But we've watched, I want to say almost all of them that weren't just me and Tony H. But there were like 4, 5, 6 maybe that were just me and Tony H.
Check it out and follow me on Twitter at Noah Dosh. That's all I got.
Cool. And you're on my channel probably. It's ebar.com or ebar says on YouTube. Follow me at ebar says on Twitter. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, if you have any ideas for something you'd like to hear us discuss, leave it in the comments. Other than that, we'll see you all next week.
You can tell this is old because I didn't make a special outro for it. I just did the Gaming with Ebar outro.
What's up, guys? It's me. It's me.
Whoa. Nope, gotta watch the intro. And this will be the last one for the night. So thanks everybody for watching. That's stuck with me through this. It's been a fun little trip down memory lane. Let's take one more. This episode is the Nexus What Could Have Been from July 2016.
What's up, guys? It's me. It's that ERIC. I am the People's co-host, Eric Barnes. This is the late
Thanks,
debate.
Brian.
And today I
Love
am
you, dude.
joined by the Extreme Icon, Mike Nagel.
It's just one of those
Yes!
things. Oh, Mikey!
Yes! Yes.
He probably doesn't want to be called
He's
Mikey.
here.
That's
He's
all.
fucking here. That's all we need. And then, of course, Mr. Entertainment himself, the very drunk on the 30th birthday, Noah Donish.
Is he drunk? Oh, he's just a straight
You
Amsterdam
look like
vodka.
some guy who tried to make it on Broadway and completely failed, and now you're down on your luck because you can't pay your rent in New York City.
I love it. I love
Fly
it.
me to the moon.
There's all-
Let me play among
Yeah,
the
that wasn't great for
stars.
Heath, but that was just
Okay,
you know.
anyway.
Let me
So,
see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
Tell me he doesn't want to live in that era.
Terrible.
Fantastic. I am Mr. Entertainment Noah Donish, joining us once again.
Tell me he does not want to live in that era where he could have worn that fedora unironically or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. He's singing "Fly Me to the Moon." He's singing "Fly Me to the Moon." The original Happy Corbin. He looks happy. Let's see how drunk he actually is. Because he might be putting on. Let's see.
And on the third late debate, this is the third show.
This was his 30th birthday.
Third one.
This
Okay,
was
so today
almost
our
6
topic,
years ago.
we chose out of the comments from the last episode, from the 99 Natural.
That's the
How
best
long
comment,
would
though.
Nexus's run lasted? Or have lasted, I guess. I guess it depends on what point we're talking
He
about.
wouldn't
Are
have
we
lasted
talking
in
about
the
the
mob.
John Cena burial at SummerSlam?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So that was a huge turning point.
He's getting low in the
I think
chair.
we can all agree they should have won that match. I know that Edge and Jericho believe that they should have won that match. So,
He was getting
first of all,
low in that
let's
chair.
think about who all was in the Nexus at the time, because that was a huge group. Yeah, Wade Barrett,
Like 8 guys?
David Otunga,
Heath
I
Slater,
love
my
those
favorite.
Slater, Justin Gabriel.
I like David Otunga, dude. I thought he had dope music. It was like, you know I got the powers, whatever. And he was married to that one chick who I'm pretty sure he's divorced now. And he was a lawyer. Look at this. Wait, which way am I pointing here? No. Look at that. Look at that drunk.
Michael
fuck.
Tarver.
Oh yeah, damn, wow.
Tarver.
That's
one
was
nobody
Daniel Bryan gone
remembers.
by that point?
Daniel Bryan was on the other team.
Oh, that's right. That's where he came back.
Yeah, John Cena introduced him.
I don't know. It's
And
there's a lot of.
Ryback. Don't forget Ryback.
Oh right. Was he Ryback yet?
No, he was Skip Sheffield.
Skip
Husky
Sheffield.
Harris.
Husky Harris.
No, he wasn't there.
Oh, he wasn't.
No Husky.
Not yet.
No Husky.
Well, anyway.
But remember, it was 5-on-5, so there was no McGillicuddy or Husky Harris yet.
No McGillicuddy.
okay.
No
Yeah,
Husky.
it's been a long
Okay.
time. It's been a long time.
I gotta go. I gotta go back
This is
to
crazy.
make it 12, buddy.
It's so fucking crazy. So let's say that they did win that match. What
Adios,
was
free
next
timer. Thanks for
for
coming
the
and hanging
Nexus?
out, dude.
Wade Barrett,
Appreciate you.
Wade Barrett would have won the world title, and Nexus would have been in power.
How long do you think it would have taken him to win the world title?
I think he would have won it probably within 2 pay-per-views after that. Maybe
So
by
bef-
Survivor Series.
By Survivor, I was gonna say before Survivor Series. Okay, so let's roll with that. Wade Barrett wins the world title. Nexus is just dominating. What does Nexus do as far as trying to take over the company? They go for all the titles, obviously.
They win all the titles.
That would be sweet.
What
What
was
do you
that?
think? What do you think, Noah?
You know.
What was that
yeah,
shitty
I
group
think
that just?
Survivor Series would have been win.
What was that group that just was supposed to be led by Mustafa? Oh my God, Ali. What were they called? Revolution? Restitution? I don't know, but like they were like a version of Nexus that was like even worse than Nexus. Like Nexus, at least they kind of tried for a little bit. With these new guys, they were just like, "Hey, let's fuck it up immediately."
And Wade Barrett went over. I think it's a shame because even as a singles competitor, Wade Barrett is such a talented performer, not only in the ring but on the microphone. He can cut a promo.
Retribution. Thank you, Alistair. Oh my God. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah. They were just like, let's do this whole thing where it seems fucking epic and like the lights are going out and they're tearing shit up and blah blah blah. Like Nexus, the first time Nexus came out, you know, they were beating people up and choking people out and getting Daniel Bryan fired and all this shit. Retribution was way more epic than that when they started, dude. That like people were running away from them, like all this shit, and then it's just like, oh hey, it's like 5 of us instead of like 1,000 of us, and also we get beaten every match. So sad. So sad.
I love the Bad News Barrett gimmick. It was really entertaining. I think Wade Barrett.
Bad News
definitely
Barrett
had
was awesome,
it.
dude.
Unfortunately, that's still at
Yeah,
its time. in
Nexus
WWE
truly-
history when John Cena is still kind
Maybe
of
the best
large in
debut,
charge,
at least of any
and
group.
WWE is
That
not
people,
really
that especially when nobody knew who the
super
fuck they were.
liberal in burying him, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that was that, and still to an extent is their go-to guy. As far
But I mean,
as yeah, go ahead.
You got to look at it from their debut. I mean, that had to have been one of the most impactful debuts
Take off that Cleveland
ever
hat.
happened in wrestling. Look how cool it was. They all came down. They beat down 2 top guys in John Cena and CM Punk. They beat the shit out of Luke.
See, Mike immediately agreeing with you, Future Shocker, about their the debut here at this part.
Gallows. They beat up everybody around ringside who didn't scamper.
Let's not forget Justin Roberts getting beat down by Daniel
Well, that's
Bryan.
what I'm saying.
And choked.
Choked out with his own
But
time.
Daniel Bryan spit in John Cena's face before he kicked him, and they tore apart the ring, the whole set. When have you ever seen that before? You haven't. And
Totally
it was
awesome.
something really cool that they really could have done something.
It was
with.
definitely very NWO-esque.
I think it was, well, maybe even more impactful than
I
the NWO.
agree. Because you have these young guns who aren't established coming in, fucking wreaking havoc, destroying everything, taking out everybody, and they just didn't do anything with it. It was a
They're
typical John Cena thing.
Yeah, really, there was no better. I can't think of a better way to debut a new group of superstars that people don't know. I mean, that's gonna stick in. I mean, it's still stuck with us after all these years.
The thing is, like, whenever they went to that SummerSlam match, John Cena didn't need that win. You know what I mean? Like, he could have lost or been pinned somehow. Let it be a cheap. Let it be like a weapon used behind the ref's back or something. And he still would have been John Cena. But once Nexus lost, they just lost all their steam going forward. And it's just like, yeah, like, it's not the same. Like, that was their big chance to make a fucking impact right there. And it had to be the John Cena show.
It's just so disappointing to take something with that much momentum, that much creativity. Because no matter what they did after that, they still, as a team, got beat by Team WWE. So what credibility do they have left at that point? I mean,
you're right, Ebar.
That was all their gas going into that one match. So important. Fail, and then what do we get? The fucking core?
Yeah, that was pretty silly. I mean,
Ezekiel Jackson, like, no disrespect to the guy, but I mean, have you ever listened to one of his promos?
Core.
Boring as shit.
Well, not only that, but it's like the whole fucking. He's a huge guy and has like a Mike Tyson voice.
That was always kind of my problem with Bobby Lashley back in the day, man. He was so big and then had such a soft-spoken voice. I can't even remember a promo from Ezekiel Jackson. Like,
Michael
how often was
Jackson
it?
voice.
I still can't.
And he was the
You could be a
Intercontinental
pop
champion.
singer. You could be a pop singer.
Yeah. Well, let's get away from the core.
Can any of you remember an interview or promo from Ezekiel Jackson? I can't. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I know he was in ECW. I know he's like Intercontinental. I'm not saying I've watched wrestling every week, but I've watched it a lot. You know what I'm saying? So,
Core and go back to the core, so to speak, of this great debate, which is the Nexus. I believe Wade Barrett would have been established as a top star had it run its course correctly. He beats John Cena, he beats all the top contenders, holds on to the title for a bit of time, and
could have held it till Mania.
I think the Nexus probably would have been more impactful than the Shield, to be perfectly honest.
So why
Probably.
did they kill it
Yes.
so quickly? What was their reasoning?
The momentum shifted as soon as John Cena got up magically from that DDT on the floor to beat the last two members of Nexus at that SummerSlam.
No, I mean, not from a kayfabe perspective, but why didn't WWE have enough confidence in the group to keep them together longer?
I'm thinking because they were young guys.
And especially considering John Cena, he seems like a level-headed guy with a good head on his shoulders. How could he not see the forest for the trees? Why did he want to beat these up-and-comers? I mean, I just can't believe that he was that worried about his spot that was so solidified by that point.
Well said,
Why would
Mark.
he want to stop the momentum? Why would he want to end something that's going to make money for everybody?
Doesn't make sense.
Well, it's that whole Hogan thing. I want to keep the title, brother.
Right? I can see that. But,
That's true.
yeah, so overall, Nexus, huge amount of potential that got dashed in the course of one pay-per-view, one
Squandered.
evening, one match.
Completely squandered.
And it sucks. It's a letdown of, and all we can do is think of what could have been. But what, you know,
What can
can't
you
change it now.
What can you
Can't change it now.
Hey, we got Bad News Barrett out of that.
Yeah, but how much did they really do with Bad News Barrett, too?
Absolutely nothing.
Ain't that crazy?
Jack shit with him.
And look what he did. He requested his release.
Like, dude, like he went from something that was kind of ended up being shitty with the Nexus, created a very, very over character in Bad News Barrett, and still was fucked up. Finally, at the very end of the stream, Noah Mania, Noah Adonis shows up. Are you kidding me? What's up, dude? I'm going back and I'm watching old late debates. You should have been here with me. You should have been here with me. You weren't here with me. I mean, I actually didn't tell you beforehand or mention it. So there's no way you could have known I was going to do this. But you should have been here with me. But anyways, this is one of the first ones we did. No, I told somebody to tweet you, Noah. I told somebody to tweet you. But anyways, check this out. We're in the last 4 minutes. I'm almost to end the stream. All the hearts, Noah. Big things to come. I don't know. I might have heard that before. I might have heard something similar like that. He's in the YouTube chat. Don't go to YouTube. Stay on Twitch. My chat should be coming through on both sides anyway, so. You're way. Oh my god. Shut up. This is why we harass you in these videos, Noah. Stuff like this. Alright. Yeah. I think we get it, buddy. Wait. Is this Noah and not someone impersonating Noah? I'm just kidding. It's the real Noah. Alright. Let's finish this.
He said, I'm not re-signing with you guys, and, you know, he's
Now,
gone
can somebody
doing,
tweet Mike
like,
and get him in here for the last 2 minutes?
on English football, so.
I think he's doing a movie too, if what I saw was correct. But specifically from that group, Wade Barrett.
Hey, Noah, Breeze actually came back. He had, until he got accidentally banned, he was like back in my Twitch chat and shit. Josh Tariff plays. I don't even know why I don't like that guy. I can't remember what the fuck happened where I didn't like Josh Tariff. I have zero recollection. That was so long ago. Anyway.
Yes, that's the most disappointing story from all of this, because I don't think there's anybody that would disagree that he had so much untapped potential. And anytime he almost was edging toward that, it either got taken away from him for no reason or he got hurt.
And
look at us. Look at us talking
crazy
about
to
wrestling.
think that Heath Slater's the only original member of the Nexus who is still actively competing.
And he's not even drafted.
Alistair, you remember? I remember Evil Josh Tariff was finest, but I don't even remember. I would have done a trivia challenge with him, dude. That kid didn't scare me. Is he still your friend? I bet you're still friends with him, Noah. Oh, that guy. Okay. I still don't remember the feud, but I remember him having something to do with Maria Menounos.
No Ryback. Daniel Bryan's a GM, and Heath Slater's the only guy.
Yeah, that was kind of sad seeing Heath Slater.
Oh, by the way, Noah, this is apparently in this video is your 30th birthday. And so you're drunk and like you're drinking vodka straight out of a bottle, and then just now you were drinking like some pink drink or something. So you've been pretty funny in this video.
Slater sitting all alone in that.
That was great. That was
I like seeing Heath Slater. I don't understand.
That was the greatest moment of the draft.
And you've got your fedora on as always. Do you still wear the fedora?
You know what they need to do? Maybe because they think the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is such a joke, maybe he should win it.
No, these videos are almost 6 years old.
Is Baron Corbin even toting around the trophy anymore?
He had it at the big Battle Royal they did for that Intercontinental title shot that Darren Young won.
Oh, so he does so.
Yes.
Well, I think that about wraps it up, guys. Nexus, huge letdown. Big bummer. Thanks, 99 Natural, for commenting. Again, everybody, if you have a good topic for us to talk about, leave them down below in the comments. And I think that about wraps this one up.
Late Debate was a good series,
short
man.
Show. So
we should do more.
Let's start with Mike because Noah's drunk.
Before we're elderly men.
Yeah, you can check me out on the Twitter at Ultimo Nagel. You can check me out on the YouTube at FTW Nage. I'm sorry, I am one of the few people who actually likes the movie The Internship with fucking Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, and he put the in front of all the internet stuff. So
I remember.
If you're on the line,
I thought that was funny.
On the line.
Yes.
Noah, you obviously have gone to sleep, but do you have any plugs?
Oh my God, Noah's dead. Noah died during this video. Noah died during this video. Holy shit.
They can't even see you. You got to make a noise.
Noah!
He's not fucking asleep. He's not asleep. You're ruining this.
This is good.
No,
comedy.
nobody wants to watch this.
Good job, Noah.
Where am I?
You're in Sacramento, dipshit. Now give us your plugs so we can end this.
What am I?
You drank like maybe 4 shots over the course of 2 hours.
What am I plugging exactly? Oh, plugs. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoahMania.
Oh, you woke right up to plug that, didn't you?
Yeah. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
YouTube.
YouTube.com/NoahMania. I think.
All the hearts, Matt. Thanks for coming and hanging out on Twitch.
Official Facebook fan page, facebook.com/officialnomania. We're gonna have our live recap of Battleground Sunday. We'll start up at 7:30 or 7:45. Excuse me. So check it out. All right, back to E-Bar.
Thanks, Noah. Anyways, that's all we got for you this week, guys. So until next week, do the crew.
Do the crew. That was a.
If you're a hot girl.
Yes.
That didn't quite catch on.
If you're Margot Robbie, give me a call.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. I'm going to take off now. Thanks, everybody, for watching in this fun little stroll down memory lane. I will see you all again very soon. I'll probably stream tomorrow, something, I don't know what. But we'll see you. Until then, bye-bye.